Oke, selamat pagi semua. Terima kasih telah hadir di acara Research Challenge Indonesia Final hari ini. Kita mulai saja, sudah 8.30. Pertama, kami perkenalkan Pak Triyono, Vice President CFA Society Indonesia, yang akan memberi kata sambutan. Tempat dan waktu kami persilakan Pak Triyono.
Ya, selamat pagi teman-teman semua, selamat pagi para kandidat. Good morning. Welcome to the CFA Institute Research Challenge Indonesian Final. This has been our 16th year of our participation of the CFA Indonesia Institute Research Challenge. So we have 26 teams registering this year, coming out of 15 universities. Some of them are familiar names. They are regular participants and going into the semi-final and the final, like Universitas Indonesia, Prasetya Mulia, Universitas Surabaya, BINUS, ITB, UGM, UNPAD, dan juga STAN. But some others are our friend. Sometimes they participate. We welcome them again. This year, President University, PPM School of Management, Universitas Brawijaya, dan Universitas Tarumanegara. We really appreciate for you to continue to join our competition. Beberapa lagi nama adalah baru, seperti Universitas Diponegoro, Unika Widya, Universitas Pelita Bangsa. So this has been long journey of learning, teamwork, and commitment since we have our kickoff on 25th of September 2021 last year. So if we speak to all of the alumni of this competition, they value this experience as one of the best learning experience, because this is the real opportunity of making truly investment decision-making guided and mentored by the best professionals in the industry. Congratulations, this is already a great success for all of you. You are already winners. The names of the finalists are in alphabetical order: Esg Ventures from Prasetya Mulia, Alpha Capital from Universitas Indonesia, Avanti Capital from ITB, Blue Whale Capital from Universitas Diponegoro, Kosanin Emerald from Prasetya Mulia, Race Ventures from Universitas Indonesia, Team One from Prasetya Mulia, Ubaya, Universitas Surabaya. Again, I'm saying this again, you are all already winners. You gain the attention of the best professional in the industry. You are also in the talent pool market for the best talent in the investment profession once you graduate from the university. We hope that the two teams that we are going to get from this final process will bring our Indonesian names to the winning sub-regional final on the 20th of March, and then on the regional semi-final on the 8th of April 2022, in the regional final on the 29th of April, and finally on the global final on the 16th of May 2022, which unfortunately, although we already planned that that's going to be held in New York, unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, we still have our third Global Investment Research Challenge on a virtual basis. Without further ado, I will pass this back to the committee. Again, my greatest appreciation for the organizing committee, for the mentor faculty, and then also for the jury for their participation and for the contributions to the process. Without further ado, I give it back to Rahmat. Yes, the microphone and display is yours now.
Terima kasih Pak Triyono atas kata sambutannya. Biar saya share screen dulu. Ini saya mau jelaskan sedikit peraturannya, rules of competition. Ya, sekali lagi selamat kepada para finalis. Ini urutan presentasi yang hari ini. Jadi yang pertama akan tampil adalah Blue Whale Capital, tim 1, begitu Ace Ventures, Ubaya, Kosanin Emeralds, Race Ventures, dan terakhir adalah Alpha Capital. Ini adalah para jurinya atau judges, Pak Demetrius Aripitoyo, anggota Supervisory Board CFA Society Indonesia, Pak Saiful Adrian, Presiden Director PT Credit Rating Indonesia, Pak Anil Kumar, Head of Fixed Income, Ashmore Asset Management. Ini adalah peraturannya. Mohon tulis nama sesuai yang Anda sudah daftar. Untuk para finalis dan faculty advisor, mohon tulis nama sesuai format yang sudah kami sampaikan. Para partisipan akan di-mute. Tim dan faculty advisor yang tidak sedang presentasi akan dipindah ke breakout room sampai giliran mereka untuk presentasi. Pada saat mereka presentasi, tim akan balik ke main room. Jadi itu mohon nyalakan video dan mikrofonnya saat presentasi. Ada 10 menit presentasi, dilanjutkan dengan 10 menit tanya jawab oleh para juri. Ini adalah scoringnya. Kalau sudah baca rulebooknya, sudah paham ini. Financial Analyst 20, Valuation 20, ESG 10, Presentation 20, dan ini sedikit aja info di sub-regional, regional, maupun global final itu yang menentukan ini, bagaimana menjawab Q&A-nya. Ini juga tim involvement 5%, quality juga 5 skornya. Ini presentation dan Q&A rulebook. Hari ini timekeeper-nya adalah Pak Teguh. Beliau akan menyampaikan 1 minute warning dan time's up kalau waktunya sudah habis. Seluruh anggota tim sangat disarankan untuk presentasi dan bergiliran ganti jawaban jurinya, menjawab pertanyaan jurinya. Tim yang sudah presentasi tetap di main room, tidak balik ke breakout room. Mohon mute diri Anda sendiri setelah presentasi dan Q&A. Ini sekedar bagi pemenang, ini adalah tahap-tahap lanjutannya. Kita ada sub-regional kick-off 9 Maret. Yaitu local champion akan dikasih instruksi dari CFA Institute langsung 9 Maret juga. Deadline-nya untuk submit sub-regional yang video itu 20 Maret. Penentuan pemenangnya 30 Maret. Asia Pacific semifinal 8 April. Asia Pacific finalnya 29 April, global finalnya Pak Triono sampaikan tuh maaf secara virtual juga, tidak jadi di New York pada tanggal 16 Mei dan akan ditayangkan secara live di Alpha Summit Global. Sekian. Apakah ada pertanyaan? Sebelum kami pindahkan seluruh tim kecuali Blue Whale ke breakout room. Silakan unmute dan bertanya kalau ada. Baik, kalau tidak ada, para volunteers silakan untuk memindahkan tim, semua tim kecuali Blue Whale. Kalau sudah, mohon dikabarin. Kita tunggu sebentar sampai semua tim ke breakout room kecuali Blue Whale. Oke, mungkin bisa di spotlight timnya Blue Whale. Dan apakah udah dikasih akses co-host ke Blue Whale?
Not yet, Pak.
Boleh coba di share screen Blue Whale? Para judges, apakah sudah siap?
Ready.
Oke, Blue Whale, apakah sudah siap? Jadi waktu akan mulai di timer saat Anda berbicara.
We're ready, Pak.
Oke, silakan.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We want to start our presentation by quoting a sentence from Shakespeare's masterpiece, "All that glitters is not gold." We, Blue Whale Capital, suggest to sell Buka with a target price of 307 rupiah due to 32% potential downside based on the price of December 2020. Starting out as a marketplace platform and growing up into an all-commerce platform, today, Buka has three business segments. First, marketplace, which contributes 76% of Buka's revenues. Second, Mitra for 15%. And last, Buka Pengadaan for 9%. As of 2020, Buka has 523 billion of transactions and 85 trillion rupiah of TPV. Moreover, there are several activities that recently Buka has done to maintain its position among peers, such as partnering with Standard Chartered Bank, investing to Elo Bank, acquiring Itemku, and launching Buku Mitra. Additionally, in terms of ESG perspective, we analyze that Buka outstands in terms of governance initiative and is lower in terms of social initiative than other Indonesian peers.
Price is just a number. We have two main reasons that underline our recommendation. First, we believe that Buka has an unproven business model to generate profit in Indonesia. Despite the rapid revenue growth from 2018 until 2020, Buka's profit margin remained crushed. It is shown by Buka's net profit margin as the lowest compared to its peers, even after more than 10 years of operation. We believe that Buka marketplace segment will keep declining until 2026 due to fierce competition in the e-commerce industry. Consequently, it is easier for sellers to switch or have different accounts in other e-commerce applications, thus causing Buka annual transacting user to decline until 2026. Furthermore, we believe that Buka's Mitra segment will be replacing the marketplace segment due to two reasons. First, based on monthly web visits, Buka has been outpaced by its competitor and the gap is getting larger. Second, Buka has first mover advantage in Oto segment as the market leader. Thus, Buka will keep focusing to penetrate the market and increase the market introduction cost to retain their annual transacting Mitra until 2026.
However, it is yet a futile attempt since all of Buka's business segments have a low monetization rate. The main reasons, again, comes back to its customer profile and its competitors. First, for the O2O segment, many of the Mitras sell low-margin FMCG goods and are very sensitive to inventory and shipping cost changes. Currently, there are also entry of new players providing competitive, sometimes even cheaper prices, thus leading to low customer loyalty. Second, for the marketplace segment, there is a strong domination by GoTo and Shopee, added with the entry of segmented e-commerce. These two conditions increase customers' bargaining power, especially as it is very easy to shift between platforms. We found that Buka's main users and mitras are Indonesians that really prioritize free shipping and cashback, shown by the large marketing spending proportion for vouchers and subsidies. This condition really hardens Buka to increase its operating profit margin to retain the users and mitra. Thus, we forecasted that Buka will keep raising its marketing expenses for the upcoming 3 years before settling down with more loyal customers.
We figured that double age score of internet penetration also give a huge contribution to our cell accommodation. One thing we know for sure, Indonesia has a huge potential in its internet economy and effort to develop its electricity and decentralize its economic growth shall be fruitful in the future. Indonesia economy in terms of GMV is estimated to reach approximately 1.5 quadrillion rupiah in 2025. And 70% of it is dominated by e-commerce sector. Unfortunately, this potential would be unfavorable for auto industry, specifically Buka, which focus on warung as a mitra. How? First, there is an uncertainty in warung features due to high online buying penetration. Based on Esg Analysis, warung revenue is dominated by FMCG product sales, which come from grocery and non-grocery type of product. However, current grocery and non-grocery services are still under-penetrated by e-commerce. Consequently, we analyzed that the future of online buying penetration would hold down to the revenue driver of warung, which the sign is already shown by the high satisfactions with e-commerce services.
Second, warung survivability will be pressured by e-commerce malls and e-tailer presence in the future. Current reports state that digital services consumption has risen rapidly during the pandemic years from 4.8 use in the pre-pandemic to 8.4 in 2021. Additionally, warung growth has also been outpaced by mini market growth in almost all of Indonesia province, and it will increase e-tailer competitiveness in the market. All in all, there are 3 reasons why e-tailers and e-commerce could cause a serious problem for warung survivability. First, they could sell cheaper products due to their capability in buying products on a large share. Second, they sell various sets of products. Third, it's a one-stop solution for people to buy many things in one click. Therefore, these superiorities negatively impact warung, as seen from mitra total transaction growth and revenue per active mitra user growth that declined massively in 2020.
Moving on to the post-IPO condition, first, to maximize Buka's IPO fund, Buka will use most of the IPO funds for working capital and investment in other entities for 30% each. And we forecast capex per sales for 11 to 19% for the next 5 years, since Buka's planning to do more corporate actions, contract renewals, and finish its cloud storage transition. Secondly, we see that Buka has an unchanging equity-based capital structure, hence strengthening Buka's balance sheet. Since we forecast that Buka will generate positive net income in 2025, Buka's average debt to equity ratio will be on average of 0.01 times. However, due to the Buka's IPO fund, it adds up Buka's cash ratio from 2.1 times in 2018 to 8.2 times in 2021. Thus, Buka is qualified to assess short-term debt to fund its working capital.
Moving on to the valuation, we use 2 methods to value Buka. First, we use FCFE as an absolute valuation because we believe that accounting free cash flow is crucial to reflect shareholders' return, despite of Buka's cash burn condition. We computed terminal value by assigning price per revenue multiples from mature companies in the 2 segments. Hence, we got Buka equity value per share to be 337 rupiah. Secondly, we use relative valuation reflected in the EV per revenue and price per sales from the 2023 forecasted multiples in the emerging companies to reflect the industry demand of both segments. By EV per revenue method, we got Buka equity value per share to be 284 rupiah, and by price per sales method, we got Buka equity value per share to be 291 rupiah. By assigning weights on each method, we got Buka's final equity value per share to be 307 rupiah.
We have 3 different scenarios consisting of worst, best, and best scenarios. Each scenario has 3 key points, such as Buka's position in the market, Buka's expansion, and predatory pricing regulation. It results in a different target price shown by our blue-gray sky analysis. To test the sensitivity of our valuation drivers, we perform our Monte Carlo simulation with 10,000 iterations by flexing revenue as key variable. The simulation result in more than 90% sell indicator. We also perform football field analysis to support our valuation. Additionally, we also identified 6 investment risks for Booka with 2 primary risks. First, the threat of competitor. We see that competitor entry will decrease the company's growth rate in terms of monetization through net take rate and user base. To mitigate this, Booka increased the value of its product by developing a new technology.
Secondly, the third parties risk. We see that Booka's high reliance on third parties will be challenging for them when the service providers cannot deliver adequate service, resulting in commercial activities, financial condition, and operations at risk. However, complete access to logistics and payment channels in the Grab and Tech ecosystem will potentially increase Booka's revenue and tackle the future problems. A wise man once said, then the end justifies the means. Our sales recommendation for Booka are explained by several key evidence. First, unproven business segments to generate profit in the long run caused by the tight competition in commerce, high market entry cost along with the effort of seeking opportunity in O2O segments, low monetization rate, and massive marketing spending. And the second, the massive internet penetration will result in uncertainty in warrant futures, as well as intense competition from e-commerce malls and retailers. Lastly, we are Blue Whale Capital. Thank you for listening. And now we open the floor to any questions.
Okay. Thank you for the good time management. Still 30 seconds.
Oke, kalau sudah siap, judges silakan mulai pertanyaannya. Begitu judges bicara, Pak Teguh silakan mulai timernya lagi.
Let me start first. Regarding your presentations, thank you. I would like questions about the low monetization. You mentioned about the low monetization, while at the same time on the slide 46 to 47, you assume take rate to rise in 2021. So what was the main driver of the raise in the take rate and your argument about low monetization? Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to try to answer the questions based on the slide. Thank you, Mr. Ari, for the question. So we base our analysis to rise the take rate because we believe that it is already time for Booka to actually start trying to monetize its platform because we actually had a comparison of take rate. Maybe we can go to the appendix slide of peer comparisons.
Sure.
So in short summary, maybe while my friend is trying to go to the slide, we had a comparison of Booka compared to other marketplace segments and the O2O segments too, and Booka has the lowest take rate here compared to the others. And while it has already been operating for more than 10 years, right? So we figured that it is time for Booka to actually start trying to monetize its platform by increasing the take rate slowly and not by increasing the gross take rate, but like decreasing the cashbacks slowly.
Okay, doesn't it contradict with your low monetization?
Yes, yeah, this is a slide, right? So we can see here that Booka has really low monetization rate compared to the other platforms. And our analysis stated that it still has low monetization rate. But since Booka is, we forecasted that Booka is still trying to increase its take rate, it doesn't guarantee its success, right? Because yeah, we can see still that Booka stated in the industry segment that Booka doesn't really have a really strong competitive positioning, but in our forecast we tried to increase its net take rate because yeah, we figured that it is really time for Booka to actually start increasing its net take rate despite of the current not strong enough competitive positioning and the current industry condition.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ari.
Okay, next question is from me. So it is related to ESG. So, in your opinion, guys, what Booka can further do to strengthen the society in Indonesia, or to increase their ESG score? What they can further do?
Okay, thank you for the questions, sir. Maybe as shown in this slide, we actually adopted our ESG rating methodologies based on MSCI by prioritizing the top key issues based on our variable scoring, and then we can get the Booka's overall ranking. And for the social aspect, we prioritize three main issues, which is labor management, privacy and data security, and community relations. Maybe next, please. Next. Yeah, as we can see here, yes, as we can see here that we use like social three key issues, and then we analyze that Booka is lower among its peers because Booka has lower initiative in labor management, Booka has lower initiative in privacy and data security, which is Booka has cases for data leak, and for the community relations, Booka is also lower than its peers in terms of community relations. So we think that if Booka want to increase its ESG initiative in the context of social initiative, Booka has to increase the initiative in all of these fields, which is labor management, privacy and data security, and also community relations.
Okay, can you be more specific? Let me throw the question this way. So if you were a Booka CEO, what kind of product or what kind the tweak of your business model to help Booka strengthen their ESG score? It can be related to social, or it can be related to environment. So I want you to be more specific. I want you to imagine that you were a Booka CEO.
Okay, if we were Booka CEOs, we think we can increase the social and governance initiative, since in a social initiative there is key issues which is privacy and data security, which is very crucial to the e-commerce industry. So we think that we should increase our security Bookalappa e-commerce security for the data, and also for the labor management. We think that Booka can increase its gender ratio in terms of labor management, and for community relations, it can be more initiative, more social initiative regarding the community relations. But also for governance initiative, Booka can also increase its board gender ratio, and for environment.
Okay, thank you, Jonas, for the question. I want to add my friend's answer. Regarding the environment, maybe one crucial step that could Booka do is having their own logistics. Since we know when the pandemic started, referring to LIPI research, trash related to plastic from buying in commerce is increasing. So maybe copying Alibaba or Amazon strategy, when they have their own logistic, they could control first maybe the plastic usage of the product wrapping. Second, maybe increasing their efficiency in transporting the logistics, so it could decrease the amount of fuel that they need. So my point is, environment, maybe first they must have their own logistics sector, so they could control the plastic usage. Second, encouraging the seller and the buyer to use more plastic-friendly material to wrapping up the product.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, team. Congrats for today. Welcome. So my question is, you mentioned that it's an unproven business model to generate profit in Indonesia. You also mentioned that there is a lot of uncertainty. So my question is, why did you use the the DCF model, because in the DCF model, you will be using a lot of assumptions, but those assumptions are uncertain in a way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anil, for the questions. So, as we already stated before, that we still thought that it is best for us to actually accommodate the shareholders' return through the free cash flow analysis. And since we didn't use the terminal growth method to calculate the terminal value, and we assume the terminal value using the exit multiple shown here by the first revenue multiples from the mature companies in the marketplace and O2O segment assigned to each revenue compositions, we still think that even though Buka is still burning cash and still have negative free cash flow, but Buka will still have positive terminal value due to the exit multiples used. And yeah, since before that, it is really important for us to still accommodate the return to the shareholders.
1 minute to go.
Yeah, for the free cash flow, because since it is an investment decisions, there are many companies out there that can be that investors can choose, and to account the free cash flow is really crucial. It's really crucial for us to give the investment decision of sales, since Buka is still generating negative cash flow, and the recommendation is still here because we think that the market has overvalued Buka's share price.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. There's a negative cash flow, but then the weighting of the DCF is at 40%. So what is the underlying reason of that huge weighting compared to the other valuations that you have used?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anil. So we gave DCF 40% weight because our group think that the weight of the shareholder return is in the free cash flow, right? Even though the relative valuation here is still calculated too, and it weights in the total of 60%.
Sorry, time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Blue Whale Capital team will stay in the main room. Once the judges are ready, please inform me so we can admit the next team. The next team will be Team 1 Prasmul. Can you stop sharing the screen? Okay, volunteers maybe can admit the Prasmul Team 1.
Please ensure for the waiting room list to assign to the respective break room first.
Okay. Okay, make sure volunteers please spotlight Team 1 Prasmul. Remove the spotlight for Blue Whale Capital. And please also assign co-hosts for the Prasmul.
Good morning, judges and committee.
Morning. We will wait until all your teams are here and you can share your screen.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I think that Team 1 Prasmul is have all been attending here. So our team consists of myself, Farel, Fernando, Nisrina, and also Maureen. So nice to meet you, judges and committee. Thank you for the time that you have presented to us for us to be able to present what we have worked on for the last few months.
Okay, hold on. We want to spotlight. Don't share screen first. We want to spotlight all your team's members. Can you stop sharing screen first? We only show 2 of you. Currently 3. There's still 2 more. 1 more. Please unmute yourself, team 1.
Yes, I'm here, Owen, and my Fernando.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we still have Fernando still.
Yes.
No,
I'm here.
I'm the faculty advisor.
Oh, Bu Aulia,
Yes.
no need spotlight.
Yes, I'm the faculty advisor.
So we need 2 more. Okay, everyone is here. Judges, are you ready?
Not yet. Owen. Okay, Owen. There.
Bu Aulia, please
okay, then.
remove spotlight. Okay.
Okay.
All right, judges ready? Team ready? You can start share your screen. Then the time will start when you start speaking.
Thank you.
Okay, we can see your screen. Start sharing your screen. Then when you speak, we'll start the timing. Go ahead.
Sorry, a technical problem, Nando?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
We cannot see the screen yet, Nando. Oh yeah.
Can you see the screen yet?
Yes, we can.
Great.
Okay, is everyone ready?
You're ready when you are.
Okay, great then. Nando, you may proceed. 22 trillion IPO, big money with big opportunities, yet the investors still doubted the ability to reach success. Our analysis and field survey shows that the market has underappreciated Booka's growth strategy. Booka is the strongest MSME player, which unlock digital financial offerings empowered by a strategic ecosystem, and its inorganic growth strategy supported by recovering financials. We are from Team 1 Universitas Prastia Mulia, issuing a buy recommendation with a target price of 590 rupiah, presenting a 25% upside. This is Bookalappa, buying the untapped opportunities. Booka operates 3 independent platforms that target different segments. Marketplace target the consumer, Mitra the SMEs, and Booka Pengadaan on the B2B segment. Currently, the marketplace ranks 4th in the industry, while Mitra Bookalappa is the market leader. As a platform business, Booka gains revenue fee known as take rate for each transaction. And responding to the competition, Booka has shifted its focus to serving the entire market of SME through Mitra Bookalappa. The platform provides access to both physical and digital products. Now Maureen will explain how Bookalappa will capture the entire market opportunity.
MSME has played a vital role in Indonesia economy, yet they are still lacking in digital adoption and experience a high cost from inefficient supply chain which might slow them to grow. Furthermore, MSME also needs capital loans to support their business. However, more than half of them still haven't gotten loan access due to the lack of bank presence and a weak credit profile. Looking at these huge MSME opportunities, Booka has successfully tapped as the first mover in the underserved market, hence gaining the most extensive MSME networks than other peers. Utilizing the dual-layer strategy, Booka as a platform provides a shorter supply chain with a more competitive price. This helped Mitra to no longer bear high markups at good price, and by partnering with wholesalers, Booka is able to source FMCG goods with minimum warehouses. And to become more attractive, Booka also offers the most complete digital products as an additional income for Mitra. Confirmed in our survey, we found that Booka offers the cheapest fee for money transfers and the limited capital capital and encourage the Mitra to choose the most complete platform which Buka has excelled in these areas. Given the vast network, we see Buka is well positioned in using the Mitra transaction data to provide the flexible capital loans, hence driving the Mitra consumption to grow, reaching 17 and 25 million for both physical and digital respectively. With all these solutions, we believe this will onboard more Mitras to reach 9.3 million, and this will synergize the Mitra TPV to grow positively and increase the Mitra bandit take rate, hence strengthen Buka to remain as a strong MSME leader. On top of that, Buka also backed by favorable ecosystem, which will be more explained by Ms. Rina.
The dual-layer strategy is also supported by the strong ecosystem that has been empowering Buka, generating one of the largest tech ecosystem in Indonesia and providing the most complete synergies from e-commerce to e-wallet. Being strengthened by other players, we expect that this strong ecosystem will utilize Buka in all of the possibilities of synergistic business included throughout the strong market position of all the players. Benefiting from the recent investment and partnership with Alobank and Standard Chartered, Buka will act as a bank channeling partner to provide financial services from buy now pay later to digital deposits, and eventually able to offer capital loan and create stickier relationship with Mitra and marketplace user. Buka partnership with Salim Group and Citicorp as the leading retail company in Indonesia will expand the FMCG distribution coverage, hence will increase efficiency in supply chain distribution and have additional advantage by offering a new segment of fresh product for Mitra. Making the most of the Grab MTech ecosystem, Buka will be able to offer last mile logistics for Mitra and marketplace, complements Mitra with digital products and media coverage for promotions through MTech diversified business portfolio. Supported by the mutually beneficial ecosystem and the robust synergistic business position, we lead Buka to have stronger competitive positioning than its peers, resulting in stronger growth for future prospects. Hence, will drive Buka's overall revenue growth by 21% CAGR that is mainly driven by Mitra Bookalappa. Owen will then explain how this partnership will affect the financials.
Through its IPO, Buka earns 22 trillion rupiah, providing the company with 14 years of runway rate. And recently, 33% of the proceeds have been reallocated for inorganic growth strategy. This will unlock Buka's opportunity to acquire or invest in supporting businesses, which strengthens Buka's position in the market. These growth potentials are reflected in revenue that are forecasted to exceed cost growth, leading to operating margins that are expected to reach 45% by 2031. Following its strong MSME positioning and favorable ecosystem, TPV and take rate is set to increase for both segments. We expect Mitra Bookalappa to overtake the marketplace contribution to the company, with total revenue growing 20% CAGR in the next 10 years. Buka's ability to attract users using network effect has successfully onboarded more than 10 million Mitras. Buka will also be able to attain user stickiness, which will suppress selling and marketing costs in the long term. Naturally, tech companies will keep optimal employees while scaling up. In addition, network outsourcing and dual-layer strategy remove the needs of high capex, resulting in lower depreciation costs. Overall, G&A costs will follow the same declining pattern relative to revenue. And benchmarking to global peers, the pattern of stabling costs is significant in the industry for both G&A and S&M costs.
Considering all this investment thesis, backed by a thorough analysis, we issue a buy recommendation on Buka by using sum of the parts method from combining Buka standalone valuation and the cost investment in Alobank. Our standalone valuation is blending discounted free cash flow to equity, derived from 3.6% terminal growth and 10.6% cost of equity, implying a target price of 550 rupiah. On our relative valuation, we use EV gross profit multiple to acknowledge discrepancy in revenue bookings and use 14.6 times peers multiples to arrive at 544 rupiah, resulting in our standalone target price to reach 550 rupiah or 17% upside, already a buy recommendation. Furthermore, we compare Buka into 4 different peer groups: global giants, general, specialized, and Chinese e-commerce. We believe Buka belong to the general e-commerce group for their wide vertical product offerings and arrive at our relative target price presenting a 16% upside, which confirms our buy recommendation. Additionally, we include Buka recent investment in Alobank and applying a 70% discount to mitigate their high price volatility risk and arrive at our final target price of 590 rupiah, presenting a 25% upside potential. Alternatively, our analysis shows that these variables need to drop 10 to 15% to change our recommendation, while better performance than expected will provide a stronger buy recommendation. Moreover, we also conduct Monte Carlo simulation by testing on several key metrics, whereas 61% of the scenarios support our buy recommendation. In addition, Buka has done some risk mitigation that will be presented by Farah.
We identified that Buka also faced several major risks. Wholesalers play a crucial factor in sourcing supplies for Mitra. Therefore, wholesalers' dissatisfaction would adversely impact the distribution and Mitra acquisition. Yet, such incentive for wholesalers can minimize the risk, which can be seen in the stress test, showing that inability to reach 8.7 million active Mitra in 2031 will change our recommendation to hold. Meanwhile, stiff competition in the marketplace and MSME segment may still remain, along with similarity of product offering, and the price-sensitive segment may also expose Buka to the risk of declining take rate. Yet, this might unlikely happen due to Buka's widest distribution network in Mitra segment, coupled with its ability to expand to a specialized marketplace. Considering the given risk, our blue sky scenario shows a 64% upside and 23% downside on our gray sky scenario. As a company that has focused on MSME, Buka also shows strong ESG commitment. As MSME is still highly dependent on multiple layers of distribution, this led to unnecessary energy consumption and emissions. However, Buka efficient supply chain model will reduce the impact on the environment. On the other hand, MSME are still having problems with slow digital and financial inclusion. And to tackle that, Buka formed Komunitas Bookalappa and provided credit access for Mitra to increase their competitiveness and bridging the socio-economic gap for the ex-tier 1 market.
1 minute to go.
As a tech company, Buka also minimizes risks related with security, data privacy, also illegal and fraud transaction by creating a multi-layer protection, implementing international standard for information security management and good management board. Therefore, based on Buka promising industry prospect driven by 3 main theses: strong position in the MSME market, mutually beneficial ecosystem, and recovering financial for acquisition. Also considering all the possible risks, we issue a buy recommendation on Bookalappa with a target price of Rp590 per share, presenting a 25% upside. This is Bookalappa buying the untapped opportunities. Thank you, and now we are ready to take your question.
Okay, time is up.
All right, judges, when you are ready, you may begin.
Okay, thank you. Let me start. In your presentations, you mentioned that the MSME competition is high impact. However, you said that the Mitra take rate is assumed to raise by around 28% CAGR. Can you explain how the competition, how you can still be positive on 28% while you mentioned that competition is high? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So yes, our team also consider like the potential, especially in the untapped MSME competition, will be heated in the futures because more of the players are trying to capture the lucrative opportunities like in this market. But that most of these retailers, especially in the MSME players, are trying to tap this market by using the first layer strategy. Like if Nando can go to slide appendix for the dual layer strategy, yes, this single layer strategy has required them to incur a high capex, which they need to build warehouses, and they'll also have to bear a high inventory cost. So this limit them to expand wider, especially into the smaller cities which have a smaller density populations. While but Bookalappa has a different approach where they using the dual layer strategy, which by using the existing inventory from the wholesalers, they enable like the Buka to grow faster, so even wider into the smaller cities, hence this benefiting Buka to gaining the most extensive MSME network. Therefore, we believe that through this widest network of the Mitra, they can use the physical transaction data to using this as an effective credit scoring as to assess the Mitra creditworthiness. Hence, they able to provide the capital loan, which become the most hurdles for the MSME, and so this will increase the Mitra stickiness to the platform. Hence, the Buka can increase the take rate in the futures.
In addition to Maureen point, yes, we acknowledge that the competition in the MSME is more intense due to as other startup and commerce players like Mitra Tokopedia, Gudang Ada, Mitra Shopee, and Ula get to the underserved MSME market. However, if Nando, could you bring the competition risk? Yes, however, our stress test shows that the take rate will have to drop to 1.79% to turn into a sell recommendation, which is very unlikely due to Booka capacity as the first mover and also the dual year strategy implemented by Booka is that different from the other startup and also e-commerce players. I think that's all in our discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. So, do you think as Indonesia will increase in terms of GDP per capita and will increase in terms of internet penetration, there's still room for SMME, I mean mom and pop store or so-called warung to grow exponentially? Maybe you can answer yes or no, and why.
Thank you, Jess, for the question. I will be addressing this. So if Nando could please bring our assumption regarding the Mitra fiscal TPV and take rate growth. So yes, we have done actually research regarding the FMCG market industry, especially because Mitra Bookalappa is mainly acting as an intermediary platform for FMCG products. We see, first of all, we need to acknowledge that Indonesia relies heavily on the general trade distribution system rather than the modern retail. We see this because the characteristics of Indonesian consumer behavior, which is characterized as a medium to low income growth, and then its behavior in consuming FMCG product, which is a more repetitive and a more frequent purchases, but with a small size basket. And we see this very prominent in Indonesia because therefore we see that general trade and modern retail, yes, will grow. However, general trade, we see that we still dominate most of the FMCG market, especially regarding this consumer behavior that we see will stick even in the future, because this we see that in comparison to other country, the consumer behavior is one of the main characteristic that will characterize the market of the FMCG of the FMCG market, and that's why we see that the general trade will still be growing 10 years from now. Hopefully that answers the question.
Okay, let me ask the next question, Tim. So you mentioned that your part of your return will come from another source, which is BBHI, using the SOTP valuation. Yet there is not much discussed about, and approximately almost 7 to 8% of return will come from that part. But you did not mention a lot about BBHI in your presentation.
Okay, thank you for the question. I'll be addressing this one. Okay, so actually, we have tried to value Alobank on our valuation, whereas we found that based on the calculation, we see that Alobank is currently one of the digital companies that may already on the brink of being priced in compared to the others. As you can see at the lower right hand side, they're implying a 19.6 and the current average is about 19.5. Therefore, we try to calculate the Alobank's equity value, and using the 12-month VWAP, we see that currently the price is only about 30% of the closing price that we use on Alobank. So we see that this is a signal for the high price volatility risk that may provide a potential downside risk on Bookalappa. Considering this, we try to put on a more conservative approach, considering Alobank's high price volatility and Booka's majority ownership in the company, and because Booka may bear a high liquidity risk considering to this. So we play a 70% discount, and we believe that this is applicable on Bookalappa, considering that Alobank valuation is quite high at the moment. And we believe, in addition to that, if I can bring you the sum of the parts method. Okay, we see that currently Booka has done the investment in Alobank. However, considering their less ownership of 20% will not be consolidated into Booka's financial statement, we believe Using this sum of the parts method would be appropriate, as supported by the modern that said less than 20% of investment is considered as minority holding or cross-investment holding. So we believe that combining the Buka standalone valuation of 550 and the BBHI attributable value that we have tried to put it a discount of 70% would be appropriate to arrive at our final target price of 590, presenting a 25% upside. That's all from us. Thank you.
So that the availability of fintech such as Alobank would enable Buka to offer flexible credit scoring using BNPL. Nando, if you don't mind, please go to Appendix Industry number 26, Fintech Impact on Valuation. Hence, the fintech will increase Mitra capital for expansion and consumption. And based on our analysis, the following reason will enable Buka to increase the Mitra annual transactions value by 40.7 million per user as per 2031, also generating a positive trajectory for the total processing value in future prospects. Thank you.
So my next question.
Next question from me, related to ESG. So, if you are Buka CEO, what will you do to increase Buka ESG score? You can tweak the business model, or you can add another product to Buka. What will you do to increase Buka ESG score?
Yes, thank you for the question, Jajas. So we try we try to identify the ESG impact on Bookalappa. So among the 3 ESG indicators on the ESG measurement, we see that the social will be the important metrics that matter for Bookalappa as an e-commerce company. Nando, could you please bring about the ESG framework? Yes. As Buka operates as an e-commerce company, platform which gathers all customer data, failure in protecting customer data will affect the Buka reputation and decrease in the number of users from both segments due to their distrust of the platform. Also, we incur the sanction fee based on the information and transaction in the electronic law in Indonesia. However, we see that Buka still not manage their customer complaints well, since Buka has been known as the most complained e-commerce platform in 2091 by YLKI, caused by Buka that experienced a data leak from its platform, causing 13 million of its user data to be traded on an illegal internet site containing email, IP address, name, password, and other personal information.
Sorry, time is up.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Team 1. Prasmul, please stay in the main room and mute yourself. We wait for the next team.
Thank you, Judge, for the time and the ability for the space for us to be able to present and answer all your questions. Thank you and
thank you, thank you,
thank you.
We will take a 5-minute breaks. The judges need to discuss for a few minutes. In the meantime, team volunteers can move the ACE venture from Prasmul to the main room. Jadi mohon tunggu sebentar ya, kita lagi siapkan, judges-nya lagi bicara di breakout room. Silakan coba share screen. Apakah bisa di share screen? Boleh di unmute ya. Ya.
Sorry, I think that we have some problem difficulties. Maybe my friend will try to join in again.
Oke.
Okay, we're waiting.
Ada yang bisa share screen? Ya. Okay, looks good. Okay, stop share screen first. We wait for the judges and your. Okay, we admit. Show.
Hi, sorry for the technical difficulty. I think I just got kicked out of the Zoom.
And no problem. Wait a minute, we put a spotlight on you.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, the screen looks good. You can see your screen, Rochelle.
All right, are we able to start?
Not yet. The judges are not in the room yet.
All
We
right,
will
no
inform you when
problem.
you can start. Judges, are you ready?
Okay.
All present? Okay, Tim, when you are ready, you may start. Pak Teguh, ready?
Yes, ready, Pak.
Go ahead, Tim.
All right. Thank you. Purchasing items online has never been easier, especially with the help of online marketplaces. That is unless you're living in a remote city in a multiple island country like Indonesia. As smaller consumers call out for help, one company has stepped out to support them all. This is Buka, Indonesia's first listed tech unicorn and the country's largest online to offline e-commerce. Differentiating itself from competitors, Buka is not only a company with an established marketplace, but also a vast online to offline business that focuses on non-tier 1 cities. The company scaled its model up by also allowing its offline sellers or mitras to purchase items online at a bargain by partnering with FMCGs and intermediary distribution centers, making them asset-light. Additionally, the company applies a highly synergistic all-commerce value chain by integrating its marketplace and mitra segments, enabling cross-sell occurrences between the two. Knowing this, we, the Ace Ventures team, issues a buy recommendation with a 35.6% potential upside to a one-year price target of 575 rupiah from 424 rupiah in early January, supported by Buka's main 4 catalysts, which are its strategic industry position, being the main beneficiary of MSME digitalization, profitability due to improving margins, and an ample cash balance to bolster expansion. To set the scene, macroeconomically, Indonesia is a country with resilient GDP growth and an internet penetration of 73%, driven by the younger population. Despite this, Indonesia's online sales adoption and digital economy contribution to GDP is still low, posing a massive room for growth for the country's digital economy ahead.
That being said, let's dive into the first catalyst. Among 4 digital economy sectors, e-commerce leads with 18% CAGR growth in the next 5 years. This growth is driven by the under-penetrated non-tier 1 cities, whose contribution to total e-commerce GMV would rise from 30% in 2020 to 48% in 2025. As, since the pandemic, 72% of Indonesia's 21 million new digital consumers come from non-tier 1 cities. And Buka is set to capture this growth, as 75% of its TPV already comes from non-tier 1 cities, indicating its focus. However, despite its competitive edge in non-tier 1, Buka is aware of the huge gap between the 2 leading marketplaces with the runner-ups. Therefore, Buka understands that its marketplace can no longer be the growth engine and decided to tackle the promising O2O industry in 2017 as first mover. At present, Mitra Bookalappa leads with 42% market share and 10.4 million mitras.
Mitra Bookalappa operates in the O2O industry, which is majorly driven by Digita's MSME. And this MSME have a prominent presence in Indonesia's economy. And now they are being pushed to the digital transformation spotlight following the government's target of digitizing 43% of MSME by 2024. Despite the trend, Indonesia's retail sales are still dominated by offline channels, where most of these come from traditional retailers, a part of MSME. With the ongoing MSME digitalization and offline retail domination in Indonesia, we can expect a massive room for growth in the counter's O2O industry, with Bookalappa as the main beneficiary. Supported by Mitra Bookalappa 8 to 3 MSME pain points, the limited working capital, inefficient supply chain, and manual business process. Mitra also able to generate new revenue stream through Buka's most extensive offerings in both virtual and physical products without additional working capital. Thus, we expect a rise in the number of Mitra, translating into 17% CAGR growth in Mitra transaction volume that will contribute to 24.8% CAGR growth in total TPV, with Mitra contribution starting to outgrow marketplaces by 2022.
Along with robust demand growth, we are positive that Buka is on the right track to profitability. Buka's higher take rate and lower S&M spending will help bring in a healthy bottom line growth. There are 3 catalysts that help boost Buka's take rate. First, Buka, which acts as an intermediary between mitras and financial service firms, enables Buka to gain commission fee. Second, Buka's strategy of selling perishable fresh produce and exposing small local FMCGs to its large network will lead to a higher take rate following the producers' bargaining power. Lastly, it gains higher take rate from specialized digital products, such as investment in gaming vouchers with a more inelastic demand. Therefore, take rate will expand to reach 2.25% by 2027, leading to a 34% CAGR growth in revenue, with Mitra surpassing marketplace contribution starting from 2023. As for lower S&M spending, Buka will realize this through 1. Mitra Bookalappa's value proposition for Mitra that will drive down the need for excessive S&M costs, and 2. The nature of O2O business, which relies on offline touchpoints and digital products, results in lower spending for delivery subsidy. All those factors have been able to drag down Buka's S&M revenue by 83% up to 2020, and we expect this trend to continue. This results in Buka reaching its first positive EBITDA by 2024, with growing EBITDA margin reaching 32% by 2027.
For the fourth catalyst, we further believe that Buka is able to grow a dependable ecosystem supported by its cash abundance. In a tech company, ecosystem is key. And currently, Buka is equipped with an extensive ecosystem ranging from FMCGs to data centers that are supported by big players such as MTech and Salim Group. With 33% of 21 trillion rupiah IPO funds allocated for strategic expansion, we are confident Buka is able to grow its ecosystem. Most recently, 1.19 trillion of them have been allocated to acquire an 11% stake in Alo Bank, which we expect will allow Buka to tap into Alo Bank's wide ecosystem, especially in its retail and logistics side, as well as benefit Buka through commission fees from their lending partnership. Lastly, with 6 trillion left, Buka has plenty of room for inorganic expansion in the future, shown by its upcoming collaboration with Transmart to form a joint venture in the e-grocery sector. Moving on to valuation, using levered free cash flow model in our DCF valuation, we use a beta of 1.06 derived from pure play method, market risk premium and risk-free rate of 6% to arrive at 12.8% cost of equity. We then deploy an H model approach with high growth rate from 2032 to 2036, before finally reaching 3.7% terminal growth rate. Thus, our DCF analysis shows a target price of 535 per share.
Supporting our DCF analysis, we conduct EV/GMV relative valuation approach. Buka is at a 45% discount to its emerging peers, and using an industry median of 0.2 forward EV/GMV, we arrive at a target price of 610 per share. We issue a buy recommendation with a target price of 575 per share, derived from a blended valuation approach with equal weights, implying 0.18 forward EV/GMV. We also conducted a multi-color simulation, which showed a strong 72% of buy probability. And in the case of a blue gray sky scenario, our gray sky will only lower the target price to hold. Going forward, we view Buka to encounter 3 key risks. First, the economic uncertainties following COVID-19 could hamper demand and thus overall TPV. Second, competitions continue to heat up, recalling the addition of 6 Mitra competitors within 5 years. In return, higher S&M expense might be issued to attract new customers. Third, Indonesia's internet penetration is still concentrated in Java, which could hamper Mitra's growth, as most Mitra originate from non-tier 1 cities. Out of the key risks, we use a tornado analysis to see the most sensitive metric to Buka's forecasted target price. As seen on the graph, Buka's target price is most affected by economic risk metrics, namely ATV and number of transactions. ATV is the most sensitive variable in our valuation, as a 12% decrease in ATV would shift our recommendation to hold. Despite this, we are confident that Buka is able to mitigate this key risk by inelastic demand offerings, its non-tier 1 focus with appropriate value proposition, and existing Mitras as agent of digitalization.
Finally, Buka maintains a good ESG standards shown by its total 3.4 according to SASB e-commerce ESG Analysis framework. First, Buka ensures a sustainable infrastructure by employing third-party data center services that upholds green computing standards. Second, as Buka positions itself as an intermediary between banks and consumers, Buka upholds their customer data privacy by making sure no one party can retrieve the information of the other without consent. Lastly, Buka appointed experienced and professional parties as directors. Even when Buka last shut down, the company appointed Willy Salim, someone with over 10 years of startup experience and a long-time employee of Buka.
Thus, with the previous 4 catalysts, which are Buka's strategic industry position, them being the main beneficiary of MSME digitalization, profitability due to improving margins, and an ample cash balance to bolster expansion, we reiterate our buy recommendation with a 35.6% potential upside and a price target of 575 rupiah. This is Buka and its story of perseverance. Thank you, and now we're ready to answer your questions.
Okay, time is up.
Okay, thank you, team. Judges, are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you may begin.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you mentioned the reason for Buka will able to increase the take rate. My question is, you also mentioned that the competition is heating up. How can Buka? What is Buka's advantage compared to the competition that can give them higher take rate in a very difficult or intense competition? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. If I may answer your question. So in terms of competitive advantage, we can dissect it into Mitra and Marketplace segment. So most importantly, the Mitra segment, Bookalappa is actually very strong in this segment, and it has two competitive advantage, which is its product mix and also its coverage. Michelle, yes, thank you. So here we can see that Buka has the most extensive product and service offering compared to peers. And if we were to compare it specifically with the second leading O2O player, the Grab kiosk, it doesn't even offer physical products like Buka. And if we move on to the coverage part, Buka is actually equipped with 340 plus IDC across Indonesia. And this enables Buka to deliver products in a more timely and also low-cost manner, which is highly crucial for the traditional mom and pop stores and also the MSME. And we view this large coverage as very hard to be challenged by peers, since the 340 plus IDCs have already established a relationship with Buka. And also from the marketplace side, Buka also has specialized digital stores, unlike Tokopedia and Shopee. And these specialized digital stores enables Buka to attract a niche target market from investment and gaming industry, which are expected to have a promising growth potential in Indonesia. Thank you. We hope it answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay, next question is for me. I'm the one in the market. One of many, I think. There is not. I'm not convinced by Buka's emphasis in their business model of mom and pop store or so-called Mitra, because I think in the long run, as Indonesia realize higher GDP per capita, the number of mom and pop store will decrease instead of increase. Instead of increasing, there will be a decrease. And another, there will be a higher internet penetration rate. So people will prefer to go online to shop rather than go to warung. So can you prove me that I'm wrong?
Thank you so much for
Go on.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Saiful, for your question. So basically, we are not only targeting warung or mom and pop kiosk that you mentioned before, because our total addressable market is basically MSME, in which we also targeting agents. For example, if you own like a barbershop or maybe a local restaurant, you can also be an agent of Mitra Bookalappa. So we believe that these huge potentials in the total addressable market is what drives our thesis in Mitra Bookalappa. And as for the internet penetration rate, if Rachel, maybe we can go to the appendix 32, digital adoption in non-tier 1. Okay, here. So the research about from the Alpha GWC stated that even though rising digital adoption in non-tier 1 cities, for example, in 2020, but the familiarization is still like 5 years ahead. So basically, they still need Mitra Bookalappa as an agent of digitalization for the non-tier 1 cities. So here we believe that the process of becoming very familiar with the digital adoption is still very long period in the near term. Thank you, and hope it answers your questions.
So you think that online to online business and online to offline business both can experience exponential growth, both of them simultaneously in the long run.
Okay, thank you. If I may add, so looking at the Mitra Bookalappa is operate in O2O industry. So first we have to understand the O2O industry outlook. So if you can show me, Richelle, the O2O industry outlook. So here we can see that this has a large opportunity in O2O industry with 65% CAGR growth until 2025. And we can see this is derived not only from physical products, but virtual products that will benefit the agent side, that as my friend already explained. In 2025, we can see that physical products only has a 20% contribution in O2O industry, and virtual product the mainly is from virtual product with 80%. So we can see that Bookalappa will benefit this by tapping into the two main product, which is physical products and virtual products from its agent.
Okay, last question from me. So, what Bookalappa can do to increase their ESG score?
All right, thank you for your question. If I may try to answer this, we can go to index. Right. Okay. So for our ESG analysis, we use a SASB ESG e-commerce framework as the analysis, in which, if you can see here in this graph, we have mapped down our scoring based on the ESG factors that SASB has recommended. We already listed down, there are a few key points that it has not fulfilled the score of 4. Just for context, our score of analysis comes from 0 to 4, which 0 means that they do not comply with the ESG analysis at all, and 4 being best practice. If we can focus into logistics and packaging efficiency, here we can see that Bookalappa itself has a score of 3. And we believe that this can still be improved by the company. Why? Because if we see the regulations that are currently appearing in terms of waste management in Indonesia, it's currently increasing. First, we can see from the producer side, then we can also see from the manufacturer side. However, we do not see a risk yet in terms of e-commerce. But since these regulations are continuing to appear, we believe that this would be imminent for e-commerce companies in the near future, as Indonesia acknowledges this as an issue. Now, what can Buka do to improve this? Well, Bookalappa currently already has an initiative in which they distribute cardboards freely and also try to encourage their consumers and also their sellers to use more eco-friendly packaging. However, we view that they can still, Bookalappa itself as a company can still increase this as a mitigation in order to tackle the regulations that might appear in the near future.
Okay. Anil, silakan.
So, my question is, you guys used the EV to GMV. Why GMV? Because GMV is unstandardized compared to revenue, which is audited. My second question is, why do you guys have to use 2 valuation and you seem not to choose between which one is superior for you? Because you guys have 50-50 in both the DCF and the multiples. Why is that so?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. And maybe to answer the first question, can you please go to the peers take rate number 82? Okay, so here we can see that Bookalappa actually has the lowest take rate comparing to the other peers. And we believe that Bookalappa has not reached its ideal take rate yet. And for comparison, to be more apple to apple, we use GMV as the first layer of its revenue recognition. And we believe that it will be more relevant to use EV GMV because of the condition that I have mentioned before. I hope it answers the question.
Yeah, but GMV is unstandardized. Revenue is audited by the public accountant. So why GMV? GMV, anyone can report any number of GMV. But revenue is real.
Okay, thank you. Maybe to add up, but we believe that the take rate implemented by different peers that has actually reached its ideal state, it will be not relevant since they will have more take rate for counting its GMV, and we believe it will be more relevant. I hope it answered the question.
Can you just go to the second question? Why 50-50?
the
So
weighting?
thank you so much for your question. So basically, I will answer the second question. 150-50. First is that we use a DCF analysis to capture the long-term potential of Bookalappa because we believe that the company is very in the nascent stage. So we believe that there is a very upside potential in the future. But why also we deploy 50% in the EV/GMV? Because we believe that we also want to capture the market expectations in the short term. Because in a tech company, we know that relative valuation is mostly conducted use, right? But in the DCF analysis, we better capture the long-term growth potential of the company. I hope this answers your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, time is
Okay.
up.
All right, Tim. Thank you very much. We will wait for the next team.
Thank you very much, judges.
Thank you very much, judges.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next team will be Ubaya. Please wait while we move the team from breakout room to the main room.
Yes, one more.
Okay, can team Ubaya share screen to test it out?
Is the screen seen, sir?
Yes.
Can you move to the next one? Next slide, maybe, because.
Yes, this is our introduction, sir.
Okay. All right. Judges, are you ready?
Ready.
Team ready?
Ready, sir.
Pak Teguh ready?
Yes, ready, Pak.
Okay. Team, you may start.
As the old proverb says, there are many paths that leads to growth. Similarly, there are also many paths that leads to company's profitability, and we believe Bookalappa is on one of them. Good morning, Board of Judges, fellow competitors, and audiences. Greetings from University of Surabaya. Today we are here to present our buy recommendation for Bookalappa, a popular e-commerce platform in Indonesia with a target price of 629 rupiah and a 67% upside. We believe the market has underappreciated these three following key catalysts. The first one being Buka's initial force on digitalizing Indonesian MSMEs in non-Taiwan region, its potential synergy with other conglomerates ecosystem, and Bukalappa's sustainable growth ahead with lower cash burn. Bookalappa is an Indonesia-based technology company which provides both online and offline services to users across Indonesia as it has all-commerce business model called Buka. Its business is divided into three main segments, which are Marketplace, Mitra, and Buka Pengadaan, and focusing mainly on non-Taiwan region. Buka's Mitra segment is growing rapidly and it is the #1 player of its kind in the nation. This business model is in line with Bookalappa's main goal, which is creating fair economy for all by becoming the first mover in online to offline business in Indonesia. Indonesia has 64.6 million of MSMEs, and from that, there are only 13% of them that are digitalized. Bookalappa aims to capitalize this opportunity by shifting its key driver from marketplace to Mitra, and this shift is shown by the rapidly growing Mitra's revenue in 2021.
Respectively, we see strength on Bookalappa positioning that we divided into three key categories. First, we see Bookalappa is a comprehensive e-commerce platform that providing an all-commerce ecosystem. This platform ecosystem combines financial services and virtual products, which caters to the needs of micro retail target. Bookalappa is currently one of the top 3 e-commerce players in Indonesia, with total visits of 29 million monthly visitors, and Bookalappa also maintains strong market share in entire region, currently as #1 Mitra network in Indonesia. Bookalappa has shown key strength in this area, including lower prices on Mitra and greater availability of products. Also, we can say that Bookalappa seriously wants to develop their businesses. It is proven by Bookalappa management to utilize funds from the IPO proceeds. Bookalappa is proposing to be able to utilize as much as 33% of IPO proceeds, and also Buka is committing to use the 33% of IPO funds for company working capital, and the rest of 34% is going to be allocated for the subsidiaries working capital. And last but not least, Buka is currently upbeat on exploring any types of partnership. Buka collaborates with Salim Group on goods and services upstreaming, and with MTech on downstreaming and customer facing. Buka also partnered up with Grab that creates better last mile delivery, leveraging by million Grab active users. In the banking sectors, Buka expects its investment in Alobank to enhance its offering to its Mitra partner, as well as boost their credits. Bookalappa is also likely to explore a collaboration with Citigroup to handle e-commerce for fresh and grocery products.
We issue a buy recommendation for Bookalappa with a 12-month target price of 629 rupees per share, signaling a 67 potential upside on the closing price of February 15, 2022. Our valuation is based on weighted EV to GMV and EV to sales models. We believe this model befits Bookalappa business characteristic, allowing us to account Buka from both sides. We put 50% weights on both models. We use EV to GMV target of 0.26 times for the year 2022, obtained from the average peers EV to GMV of 0.78 times with a 52% discount. Our discount is back at the company with the closest GMV to Bookalappa, which are C Limited, Mercado Libre, and Kupang Inc. For our EV to sales assumption, we use a target of 18.69 times for the year 2022, obtained from the sales CAGR growth from 2018 until forecasted 2022, and the data of average EV to sales divided by growth using the next 12-month data. We also conducted a bull and bear case analysis to strengthen our recommendation. Our bull case determined a price of 691 rupiah with an 84% upside, in which the company fully realized and optimized their resources to empower and digitize Indonesia's MSMEs and successfully shift their business focus to Mitra Bookalappa. While our bear case indicates 42% upside from its current price, since Indonesia's MSMEs has shown a massive growth over the years, we believe Buka's current favorable market position would still result in a slight share price appreciation. We conduct another sensitivity analysis, begin with our Monte Carlo simulation. We perform our Monte Carlo simulation with 100,000 iteration, and we arrive at 71% probability beyond 10% of its current price. We also conduct a tornado chart and a spider plot with 10% change on each variable, and both shows that the uncertainty in TPV has the biggest impact for our valuation. Since TPV has the biggest impact for our valuation, we conduct another sensitivity analysis of EV to GMV and TPV to assess the significance of change for our valuation. We also conduct a sensitivity analysis for EV to sales target and sales, with the 5% change on both of them, which both shows that even the lowest number would still result in an upside, supporting our buy call. Moving on to our relative valuation, we use EV to sales and price to book value as our main measurement, using the trailing 12-month and next 12-month data comparing Bookalappa to its key peers. Currently, Bookalappa is traded at a lower price to book value at 2.15 times, but at a higher EV to sales. Yet the high EV to sales is not always a sign of overvaluation. It could be a positive sign that the investor believes in the company's future sales. By that, our relative valuation goes along with our valuation analysis, showing that Buka shares are undervalued and worth our buy recommendation.
There are 3 main points in our financial analysis. Our first point leads to Buka's revenue, which is driven by addressable market with great opportunity. Historically, Bookalappa has been able to increase its revenue by 115% CAGR for year 2018 to 2020. In the third quarter of 2021, Buka's revenue has increased by 35% year-on-year. We expect Bookalappa to continue increasing its revenue. The next fact, Bookalappa is planning to make Mitra Bookalappa as its future key driver. In the third quarter of 2021, Mitra Bookalappa is increased by 144% year-on-year. We projected that at the end of 2021, Mitra revenue contribution can reach 32%. On the other hand, Buka's TPV also increased significantly. We projected that Buka's TPV growth can reach 54% CAGR for year 2018 to 2022. Our next point will talk about robust liquidation leads to forward-looking expansion. Recently, as we all know, Bookalappa has shifted the usage of IPO fund allocation for long-term sustainability by 33%. With that, Bookalappa has obtained 11.5% of digital bank issuer PT Alobank Indonesia. Following the state right issue price at 478 rupiah per share, Buka will generate 11.3 times unrealized gain as the theoretical ex-right price. The last point is unceasing company growth within excessive industry. Bookalappa has lower take rate than its competitor, which indicates an ability to increase monetization throughout the years. We projected that in the end of 2026, Buka's take rate can reach 2.3%. We also projected that Bookalappa will increase its capex and reach 22.4% CAGR for year 2018 to 2026. In 2020, Buka is decreasing its CAC, but still followed by 72% significant ADV growth, which indicates Buka's efficiency in managing their operating costs.
Besides, there are several risks that Buka face, such as financial risk, market risk, and strategic risks. Of all these risks, the risks that become the main concern based on the severity and likelihood are the market risk one about the growth of marketplace in Indonesia and strategic risk one about the competition among marketplace. The increasing number of marketplaces has tightened the competitive environment. It is proved with the result of sensitivity analysis, which show that TPV and revenue, as the benchmark of e-commerce company success, are the most sensitive variable with a number of 10% and 7% of change respectively. In order to deal with it, Buka needs to invest in intensive research for managing potential threats to be successful on online transaction, improve company positioning, scale up new business modalities to good monetization, offer more complete features compared to peers, and proactively doing promotion. On the other hand, Buka also gives more impact to the environment and society as shown on the slides. Of all these activities carried out by Buka, there are three main highlights. First, Buka tends to educate stakeholders to save the environment. Currently, Buka has collaborated respectively to invite Mitra Bukalapak and their customers to cultivate the habit of recycling by exchanging plastic waste for points that can be used for shopping at Mitra Bukalapak stores. Through this movement, Buka wants to contribute to increasing the recycling rate in Indonesia by more than 10%. Second, Buka has helped communities by responding to the urgent needs of improving digital and financial literacy to boost financial inclusion. Buka has met MSME as partners and even educates them regarding the use of Buka's application, finance, and providing training related to the online sales. And last is to support the government by establishing products and services that improve.
Continue, 1 minute to go.
Okay, thank you, sir. I would like to continue. So the last is to support the government by establishing products and services that improve public participation and support the essential target of the government. Currently, the government has targeted 30 million MSME players entering the digital ecosystem by 2024. In this case, Buka's vision to digitize MSME will help the government program. Buka has also contributed to the achievement of SDGs, especially for SDG number 1 about no poverty, SDG number 8 about decent work and economic growth, and also SDG number 10 about reduced inequalities.
We therefore restate our recommendation based on digitalizing Indonesian MSMEs in non-Taiwan region, potential synergy with other conglomerates ecosystem, and sustainable growth ahead with lower cash burn. Heads up for investors, as Indonesia's first listed tech startup unicorn is on its way to profitability. Thank you.
Okay, time is up.
All right, judges, are you ready?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me start. Your slide, slide A8, the appendix. Assume Mitra Bukalapak take rate to jump from 0.9 to 1.4. What kind of product that would make them, but that would create this higher take rate? And why do you think they are able to compete and making this higher take rate?
Okay, thank you, judges, for the question. So I want to confirm that you asking about what product of Mitra Bukalapak can increase its take rate. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
In heightened competition, yeah.
Okay, so Mitra Bukalapak customer target is currently in non-Taiwan region, which is different from their competitors because Bukalapak shift their main focus to non-Taiwan region, to Tier 2 and to Tier 3. In this region, Bukalapak aim to digitalize the MSMEs so that they can become their mitra. They can become digitalized, and this digitalization means they can sell products, and through Bukalapak, they can access upstreaming of supply. Maybe my friend could add more.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks. if no one wants to add.
Oh yeah, I want to add my friend's answer. So for the products that we think could increase Mitra take rates is the first of all is going to be groceries in warungs, like warungs by traditional mom and pop stores, since it has most penetration before. And we also think that virtual products, including financial services and virtual.
You're muted.
Sorry, the host just muted me.
Sorry, apology. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I will repeat my answer. So for the products for increasing Mitra take rates, we assume that the first one is going to be groceries in warung. By warungs, we mean traditional mom and pop stores since it has the most penetration before. And we also think that virtual products, including financial services in warungs and that the ones that are sold in foreign and credit kiosks will also increase our take rate for Mitra Bukalapak since it is the leading O2O platform in key products categories. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next questions from me. So I'm not convinced by the Buka O2O story, because I think in the long run, the number or the growth of mom and pop store that Buka consider as Mitra will decrease. Why? Because as the GDP per capita of Indonesia will increase, so there will be a consolidation in the retail market, and also people, be it in urban area or rural area, will prefer to go online to shop. Please prove me that I'm wrong.
Okay, thank you, Jaces, for the question. So here we think that Bukalapak will be survive because right now Bukalapak has two main segments, which is marketplace and also Mitra Bukalapak. And right now Bukalapak is building a network on non-tier 1 region with its Mitra Bukalapak focusing business segments. And here we believe that with the increase of Bukalapak here on the non-tier 1 region, Bukalapak will build a brand image on the non-tier 1 region people, non-tier 1 region society, so that they could know Bukalapak. They have a brand loyalty about Bukalapak. And even so, if at the end people will do or will buy online, Bukalapak still have an e-commerce. And for the non-tier 1 region cities with no Bukalapak as the Mitra that has an e-commerce, so they will also choose Bukalapak as the marketplace that they will enter. Maybe my friend will to give further information.
Okay, if no further to add, so my second question is related to ESG. So how can Bukalapak increase their ESG score from the current state? How to increase their ESG score?
Okay, thank you,
you can tweak the business model, or you can add a product, etc. It's up to you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the question. So here, Bukalapak has several activities to do with their ESG, and currently there one thing that I highlighted is that Bukalapak is also start to come to the environment too. At the first, Bukalapak is focusing on the social and government by digitizing the MSME, boost the financial literacy, and etc. But currently, we see that Bukalapak also trying to improve their environmental by collaborating with Plastic Pay to invite their Mitra Bukalapak, their customer, to cultivate the habit of recycling. So here we believe that Bukalapak will increase the ESG score also by the environmental activities besides the social and government activities.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, team. So my question is, what is the underlying reason of using two valuation models, which is the GMV and the sales, and then putting a 50-50 percentage on those both? What is the underlying reason?
So thank you, judges, for your question. So the unrelying reason why we use EV to GMV and EV to sales is that both of them actually represent two different things. So why do we use GMV? Is that because we think GMV is a fair metric to represent an e-commerce company, since It is the first e-commerce companies in Indonesia. And why we use sales is that because sales also represent how a company should value. Since Bukalapak now haven't generated any profit yet, right? So we use sales to identify the post-monetization phase for the companies.
Yeah, but it's sales, it's not profit.
And both are actually
You're using
used
sales.
and sales, yeah.
Yeah.
GMV and sales is the same, right?
Same, exactly. GMV and sales same.
Okay, thank you, judges. So here I would like to clarify GMV that we are talking here is that the number of people or person that is the Bukalapak customer that is trying to buy, even though that the transaction hasn't done yet. But the sales that we are talking here is the fee of Bukalapak or the literal money that Bukalapak generate from that three business segments such as marketplace and then the Mitra Bukalapak and also Buka Pengadian. So there's a difference between GMV and sales that we're talking about here.
Exactly. So why put a 50% weight on the GMV when the sales is more important?
Thank you for your question. So we use GMV since an e-commerce company, we think e-commerce company should be measured by its GMV as well, since it's represent their transaction, since their sales is going to be, since their revenue is going to be generated from their transaction. So we think while Bukalapak is now hasn't generated any yet, and much sales yet, we think that we need to consider the use of GMV in our valuation.
One more
Also,
question.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay, sir. I actually want to add more about the GMV.
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you. So we use also the GMV and put the 50% weight of them because the comparable peers is also use a GMV as their valuation, sir. So that's why we put GMV and sales. Okay, sir. You can.
So one more thing, they have recently joined Alo Bank. I mean, they have acquired. So why not use the SOTP method compared to using the two same method, which is GMV and sales, the same multiple approximately? Why not SOTP?
Okay, 1 minute to answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the question. So when we do EV to sales and EV to GMV valuation, Alo Bank and Bukalapak has not been officially purchased by Bukalapak on the stated right issue price.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, time is up.
All right, Tim. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
judges.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you, judges.
The next team will be Kosanin Emerald from Prasmul.
Napas dulu. Can you give us a 5 minutes break, Rahmat?
Okay, we wait while the Prasmul team is moved to the main room. All right, Tim, try to share your screen. All right, the screen is good. Judges, are you ready?
Yes, ready, Pak.
Pak Teguh, ready?
Yes, ready, Pak.
All right, team, you may start.
In a world driven by disruption, make sure you're on the right side of change. Do you often feel frustrated during your shopping? Believe us, so do we. When you have to visit multiple stores to get expensive products, including for your water inventories, yet they're out of stock everywhere, you're left with nothing but disappointment and frustration. Good news is now you can access all of your needs through a single app called Bookalappa. It connects buyers and sellers in a single all-commerce platform and gets commission from every transaction made. Good morning to our respected judges and committees. Today we, from Kasan and Emerald, will walk you through a recommendation on Bookalappa, embracing the future of industry revolution. We issue a buy recommendation with a 28.18% upside to a one-year target price of 605 Indonesian rupiahs. This is driven by our three catalysts of tremendous MSME segment unlocks promise growth, the ecosystem expansion attracting new customers, further multiplier revenue, and the solid cash position securing Bookalappa's longevity. Getting to know Bookalappa and its industry, Bookalappa has three main business segments that helps boost Buka's net revenue impressively. Now, as we step onto the marketplace, Buka's monthly visits is in third place compared to its peers, owning only 7% of the market share in Indonesia's industry. Well, why so little? Well, despite already penetrating 90% of Indonesia's e-commerce users and having the lowest take rate in the industry, only up to 16% of registered users in Bookalappa Marketplace are active. That's why in 2017, Bookalappa differentiated itself by entering the O2O segment, specifically the warung, through its Mitra Bookalappa. The shift turned out to be positive as it brought vast growth to Buka despite the big contribution of the marketplace. Not to mention, since the launch of Mitra Bookalappa, Buka's CAC has been declining, which helps drive Buka into profitability, as Maria will explain next.
This brings us into our first catalyst, in which is online to offline segment drive Buka as Indonesia's largest and leading all-commerce platform in the non-Tier 1 area. Do you know that 70% of Indonesia GDP was contributed by non-Tier 1 area? However, more than 80% of the population in the non-Tier 1 area are laggards when it comes to adopting technology. Therefore, we can say there's high potential in the non-Tier 1 area, especially MSMEs. MSMEs have high contribution in Indonesia GDP, but a low number of adopting technology, leaving almost 84% still untapped. That's why Bookalappa adjusts their strategy to target this sector, which is the MSMEs in the non-Tier 1 area. Having to have many hands switching of product, the current supply chains are inefficient. For MSMEs especially, they must purchase material and supply from several retailers. That's when Bookalappa came in and started to penetrate the MSMEs market through its Mitra Bookalappa. But how? Just as warung always provide FMCG, so Buka penetrated the warung by providing FMCG product at the lowest margin. By doing so, Mitra Bookalappa was one of the first to enter this market and capturing the biggest market share. Attracting newcomers, Mitra Bookalappa is then followed by others. Thus, by being early mover, Bookalappa now is able to have their competitive advantage, which is the supply chain, especially with more than 300 DCs and IDCs acting as a crucial component in the non-Tier 1 area. And it makes Buka the leader in highly untapped market of MSMEs warung. After successfully penetrating the MSMEs market through FMCG, Bookalappa is able to increase its take rate from the virtual product. With that strategy, the Mitra TPV and Bookalappa revenue is able to grow impressively. With a current 10.4 million Mitra, Buka also plans to tap into various MSME vertical to further increase their TPV. Compared to the active user in the marketplace of only 16%, the total number of active users in Mitra Bookalappa is able to reach more than 50% due to the larger market share of Mitra Bookalappa and stickiness of the active Mitra user. From our survey, the Mitra are sticky mainly due to the complete offering of virtual product and convenience provided by Mitra Bookalappa. With a huge untapped market potential and huge growth of Mitra Bookalappa registered users over the past 4 years, our team forecasts that this growth will increase exponentially in the future, and so the ATM will also increase, which will also lead to the increasing Mitra TPV and revenue. Our next catalyst will be explained by Nico.
So now I'll enter to our second catalyst. We do believe that ecosystem expansion will definitely attract new customers and further increase revenue. One of the keys to growth in this industry is to have a strong ecosystem. And looking at this, we can say that Bookalappa is on the right track in building its own ecosystem. Then you might be wondering, so what's next for Bookalappa? By building its ecosystem, it will support Bookalappa to shift trends away from general marketplace with low take rate to a specialty floor and storefront that will differentiate itself in the marketplace segment. With that, the marketplace will be able to attract customers with more purchasing power and generate greater take rate, and also be a platform for Mitra to sell online. By enlarging its ecosystem, Bookalappa is capable of increasing its overall take rate in the future and acquire more customers, thus resulting in increased Mitra ATM and marketplace ATO and obtain higher revenue. Moving on to the third catalyst. With its recent IPO, Bookalappa is able to secure its longevity. Bookalappa IPO is one of the largest with a huge fund of 21.9 trillion rupiah that secures Bookalappa a spot in the future. It is an IPO within the right timing, as now the interest rates are rising and that will make it harder for peers to get access to funds through IPO mechanism. With a strong cash position, it also secured Bookalappa long-term expansion plan. Also, to do acquisition and joint venture, in which one of the realization is when Bookalappa acquired 11.49% share of PT Alobang Indonesia that will focus on consumer lending. Bookalappa is also in a plan of joint venture with Transmart to create e-commerce in the fresh food and wholesale segment that will strengthen Bookalappa's moat in the Mitra space. In addition to an increase in investment in shares, we also believe that there will be more events to happen in the future and the fund can also be used to expand its ecosystem. Now, let me pass this on to Gerald.
Now comes to valuation. The marketplace ATU is forecasted to increase by 8% and the ATP by 7%, thus increasing TPP by 15%. We also forecasted that the take rate for marketplace would increase to 3.08%. Thus, both TPP and take rate will increase the marketplace revenue by 23%. Now moving on to Mitra. The ATM will be increased by 18%, but the ATP will only grow by 4%. These two will lead to an increase of TPP by 23%. We also forecasted Mitra Bukalapak take rate to increase to 2.63%, thus increasing the revenue by 34%. All in all, the revenue for Bukalapak will increase to 17.6 trillion rupiah, and Mitra Bukalapak revenue will keep on increasing and overtake marketplace revenue in 2022. Increasing OCF is primarily driven by the increase in Mitra and marketplace revenue. Additionally, Buka maintains their expenses efficiently, especially their selling and marketing expense. On the other hand, the present value of FCFE for Buka is forecasted to increase year over year. And with a present terminal value of 29.6 trillion rupiah, we achieve equity value of 67.1 trillion rupiah. With the numbers shown on the left, we were able to get a target price of 651 from the FCFE model. And in calculating the relative valuation, we use the EV per forward revenue and gain a median peers of 11.12, hence achieving our target price of 555. And with a 50-50 weight for each valuation strategy, we were able to get a blended target price of 605, which is 28.18% upside. And our Monte Carlo simulation shows more than 70% of buy probability, and that ATM per user registered is the most sensitive variable. Furthermore, driven by take rate, our blue sky scenario is 852 rupiah, and our gray sky scenario is 295 rupiah. Sandrina, now the time is yours.
Moving on to investment risk. By tapping into other MSMEs verticals and focusing on non-T1 area, Bukalapak addressed the risk of emerging competitors. Risk of intense competition in the marketplace also exists, but we believe Bukalapak competitive advantages can grow its market share. Product affordability risk in Mitra Bukalapak can also be mitigated through public exposure to attract FMCG companies. Lastly, there is also a social, political, and reputational risk, but this is mitigated by Bukalapak hiring a public relations team. As we analyze the company ESG based on SASB, we got a score of 4.2 out of 5, showing Bukalapak excellent mitigation of ESG risk. Environmentally, where packaging nearly free is one of the greatest contributors of waste, Bukalapak brings an impact in minimizing waste and maximizing energy responsibility through various contributions. Socially, especially through Mitra Bukalapak has reduced inequalities by empowering MSMEs. Governance-ly, Buka advocates equality within the workplace and also takes concern on corporate and data governance. Despite having experienced a breach of the terminal data, Buka also wisely managed their system so it will not repeat. To recap, our key main catalyst is on the 28.18% upside potential. This is Bukalapak embracing the future of industry revolution, bringing you to the right side of change. Thank you, and now we will begin the question and answer session.
Okay, thank you.
All right, judges, are you ready?
Okay, thank you. Let me start. Your take rate assumption is very strong, especially on the Mitra. My question is, why do you think they can be able to increase the take rate, and which product that will provide them? You mentioned also it's going to be higher than marketplace. So how will they come to this realization later? Since the competition is also tough here.
Okay, I'd like to address that question. And thank you, Sir Ari, for the question. Vanessa, would you mind go to appendix B7 or slide 113? So first of all, our take rate, so first of all, we forecast the take rate based on two factors. First of all, the marketplace take rate and the Mitra Bukalapak take rate. Our assumptions and our rationales on why marketplace take rate can still increase is because there's a shift in trend from general marketplace towards specialty store. Not to mention, Bukalapak is expanding their ecosystem right now. One of the ecosystem that Bukalapak is tapping onto is gaming. I can give an example, which the take rate from gaming itself is 8 to 9%. And we do know that one of the key strengths to Bukalapak marketplace is their low take rate compared to their peers. If I could give example, C Limited as of now is charging a take rate of 7%. In 2030, our take rate is at 3.08%. That's less than half of what C Limited is charging to their customer right now. Next slide, please. So for the Mitra Bukalapak segment take rate itself, we forecast that it will increase to 2.68%. And the rationale behind it is the virtual product TPV of Mitra Bukalapak is increasing exponentially. If I can give a data in 9 months 2021 itself, the Mitra Bukalapak TPV is increased by 156%. And virtual product is the main driver to Bukalapak increase in take rate. One of which is, which I have mentioned before, is gaming. Probably I can give another example to you is digital remittance, where digital remittance take rate for Bukalapak is around 10%. And for the non-FMCG itself, there's also a fresh food, which take a take rate of 10%. And with the expansion of ecosystem in the future, we believe that Bukalapak will be able to increase their take rate. Thank you, and I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. Gaming in the Mitra Bukalapak?
I'm sorry?
You mentioned about gaming in Mitra Bukalapak?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Next question is from me. So I'm not convinced by Bukalapak O2O story at all, because I think as Indonesia GDP per capita will be keep increasing, so people, be it in urban area or rural area, will be wealthier. So the number of warung and mom and pop stores will decrease in the long run. I mean, in the long run, instead of increasing. Because why? Because people prefer to go to more established point of sales, one, and two, as the internet penetration is increasing, people will prefer to buy online. So I'm not convinced at all by the O2O story of Bukalapak. Can you prove me that I'm wrong?
Okay, so thank you for your question, and I will try to answer the question. Vanessa, can you please go to slide 13? So for us, it is the right strategy that Bukalapak shift is focused to Mitra segment. Why? Because from the historical data here, we can see that Mitra Bukalapak revenue grow impressively and is able to grow its contribution to Bukalapak revenue, especially from 9 months 2020 to 9 months 2021. And can you please go to the next slide, Vanessa? And from here, we can see that the CAC of Bukalapak is able to decrease, driven primarily by the Mitra Bukalapak. And from the slide 173, so from the definition of CAC itself that the company has released, it is the cost to acquire and make users that are dormant into active again. And the CAC of Bukalapak is able to decrease mainly driven by a shifting strategy from marketplace to Mitra Bukalapak due to the different behavior of the target market. To approach the warung, Bukalapak has a sales army which will approach the warung to become a Mitra. And fortunately, the referral strategy and the word of mouth spread fast regarding the success of Mitra, which make the other warung to follow their path and help Bukalapak in increasing their user base without spending too much cost on acquisition. Thank you.
Second question.
I'm sorry. Would you mind if I want to add a bit?
Please,
Fanny, would you go? go to Appendix F11. So I'd like to address first on your concerns regarding the Bookalappa shift on MS Mitra Bookalappa. F11, slide 176. Next slide, please, Vanessa. So let's look at numbers, okay? So you say that Mitra Bookalappa, you're not really convinced. Yes, right now, the active annual transacting Mitra right now is at 4.1 million, and the marketplace annual transacting user is at 15 million. But please take note, the TPV generated from each active Mitra is at 9.7 million right now. It's almost 3 times as much as the marketplace. Not to mention, what makes the Mitra is more special is that the Mitra users are more active compared to the marketplace segment. Look at this, the ATM over the Mitra registered is almost 52.17%. Compared that to the marketplace segment, which is only just 16%. And if I could mention again, Fanya, would you mind going to slide 213? So your main concern, one of it, is that most of people in the future might, especially the tier 1 and Indonesia is gonna evolve into more digitalization, is that people's gonna transact in online. But the fact is, no, 80% of non-tier 1 cities are still laggards in terms of adopting technology. If they want to use technology, they would have used it earlier. And in fact, from our survey, 100% of our Mitra Bookalappa knows Bookalappa from sales army. They don't know it from online advertising or even offline advertising. They need guidance from this sales army. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, second question from me related to SG. So how Bookalappa can increase their ESG score? So it's a simple question.
So thank you for your question, if I may answer to that. So let me bring you to the ESG segment here. I'm sorry. In regards to ESG, we evaluated Bookalappa's ESG based on SASB, and we scored a 4.3 out of 5. And we believe that with this, we see there are still room of improvement for the ESG. Now, in terms of mainly because there are still a lack of discrepancies by the company, considering that they have not uploaded their sustainability reports. And so we anticipate that to be improved. So we would like to see the reports soon so that we can analyze further. And so in terms of that, transparency in regards to especially water usage and environment management is still lacking as of this moment. And on top of that, it would be best for Bookalappa to further improve their security systems for data privacy and data security. But in terms of, but so far they have mitigated this well, but if they were to improve it, it would be so much better. Now, in terms of the other aspects such as human capital, we believe that Bookalappa has done this very well, considering that they have good management of the employment and good management of equality within the industry. And on top of that, the social, in terms of social impacts, we have seen how Bookalappa have helped so many MSMEs to further develop education on digital penetration and on improving their economies down to reducing inequalities based on the SDGs. And so, reducing
1 minute
poverty,
remaining,
as well as developing the economy. And so with that, we believe that although there are still room for improvement on ESG, we believe that Bookalappa has good ESG mitigation risks and have done excellently. Thank you.
Okay. My question is, you used 2 different valuation, and then you put a 50-50 weighting on both. What is the reason? You seem not to be sure on which one you prefer compared to the other. Thank you.
So first of all, I'd like to add first that Bookalappa is not yet profitable as of now, and there's a really high volatility in the revenue, ATU and ATM, which our team has done a stress test to it. And right now, there's an abundant amount of cash. The rationale on using the relative valuation itself is because the fact that the relative the peers outside overseas are more stable as opposed to the one right now as Bukalapak's FCFA model. But why we use 50-50 and not put more weight towards relative valuation is the fact that Bukalapak has IPO and there's need emphasis on the cash flow. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, time is up.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you.
The next team is Race Ventures from UI.
Can we pause for 2 minutes?
Okay, sure. You want to go to breakout room, judges?
No, I want to complete the administration.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, Team Race Ventures, can you share your screen to test it? All right, looks good. Can you stop sharing first so we can get every one of your members on the spotlight? We still have 2 members not spotlight yet.
Task.
Okay, we still have 1 more for spotlight.
Hello. Hello.
All right, all 5 of you are there. You can start sharing screen. Judges, are you ready?
Yes.
Pak Teguh, ready?
Yes, Pak.
All right, team, the time is yours. You may start anytime you wish.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, we would like to thank you for the opportunity to join this event. Right now, we want to present to you a very interesting proposal. We suggest to invest in a company that strives to adopt, adapt, and accomplish success. This company is Bookalappa, or Buka for short. Buka is in the thriving e-commerce industry. This industry identifies 2 types of markets, which are Tier 1 markets that consist of big cities where most e-commerce players focuses on, and non-Tier 1 markets, which Buka is focusing on right now. We can see that the non-Tier 1 markets dominates in terms of population and growth. While the Tier 1 markets is nearing the stage of maturity, non-Tier 1 market shows a much larger growth and potential with 67.9% growth in the next 5 years. Buka Mitra's expansion in non-Tier 1 cities provides opportunities for Buka to spread their wings and acquire more of the Indonesian market. So why buy when the price chart shows a decline? Well, given the variables that we know, we believe this could turn into an upswing. For what reasons? It is because of the pandemic, where everything shifts online and push the e-commerce industry up, And it is also because Booka's recent corporate actions have convinced us that Booka can achieve a 645 rupiah target price with a 36.4% upside potential through their actions.
Now I will explain about the first reason, which is about the adoption of the group purchase model. There is a noteworthy example in China where its market leaders in big cities and small towns are different. While it is not so popular in big cities, Pinduoduo has the biggest share in lower tiers. Likewise, in Indonesia, while other players dominate the big cities, the Booka marketplace has a large share in non-tier 1 cities. Pinduoduo's success lies on their group purchase model that enables consumers to buy in bulk to get discounts and is overly successful in penetrating small towns in China. Following Pinduoduo, Booka is the only leading platform in Indonesia that could offer you this group buying facility. We trust that this model could also be successful in Indonesia, since similar as in China, there is also a robust collective culture and a high logistic cost. People in Indonesian rural areas often attend communal gathering activities, or as we call it, arisan, where they could be persuaded to buy in a group. And the distributed logistic costs could cause people in rural areas to consume more. We move on to our second reason. Booka leads the e-warung industry due to its adaptation of an effective supply chain infrastructure as its sustainable competitive advantage. As we can see, this conventional supply chain is highly inefficient with 5 to 6 middlemen. Booka is cutting it off by acting on its dual-layer distribution. Booka only takes a meager 1 to 2% margin in this process, and this could prevent other e-commerce to tap in and excel in this industry. The intermediaries distribution center, or as we know them as the IDCs, are the existing distributors that works exclusively with Booka. Booka claims that it can tap into 30 to 40% of the IDC's business volume to dominate and prevent them to flirt with other e-commerce. The last reason is about how Booka could accomplish a higher transaction volume. Booka could generate new consumers since their parent company, Mtech, has a strong media presence. It has a 26% TV audience share in Indonesia, which is a great promotion tool for the non-tier 1 cities since 92% of Indonesians in those areas are still watching TV. Next, the recent acquisition of Alobank shares could offer easier payment and results in an increasing rate of successful transaction. Last, the partnership with the biggest Indonesian conglomerate, Salim Group, and Southeast Asia's biggest technology startup, Grab, could result in stronger logistics and cheaper price that we expect to keep the consumers loyal. With this, we forecast that the total processing value per Mitra to increase through 3 times in the next 4 years.
As our strong reason on Booka, the company's total processing value is potentially to register 48% compound annual growth rate to 600 trillion rupiah. It is driven by the Mitra segment due to strong organic user growth, while the commission rate or take rate remains below 2%. In terms of revenue, Booka's revenue is potentially to continue to surge, seeking for a 51% compound annual growth rate up to 2025. It is driven by an increase of group purchase model adoption from the Mitra segment, which will contribute nearly 40% of Booka's revenue of 7 trillion rupiah in 2025. Moreover, the company's average revenue per user will be bigger than customer acquisition cost in 2024. Thus mentioned growing performance will have an impact towards company's profitability that will continue to increase over time. The company also can strengthen its revenue through boost marketing spending by utilizing its cash from IPO.
Our analysis shows that Booka is currently undervalued. In our relative valuation, we value Mitra segment with a comparable multiple to Shopify, as Booka plans to integrate value-added services similar to Shopify's business model to its O2O ecosystem. As for the marketplace segments, we value it based on limited forward multiples. we are convinced that it's a fair valuation as global peers average are projected to trade at a comparable multiple. To do scenario analysis, in the upside, we project Booka's market share to exceed 50%, further widening its gap from competitors, while in the downside, we project Booka's market share to decline due to increasing competition. However, we find our valuation to be robust, as we find a high upside probability of 60%. It is supported by Booka's head start in O2O and group purchase model, in addition to its ecosystem and partnerships that's difficult to be replicated, thus enabling Booka to stay as the market leader in O2O.
We realize that all businesses have inherent risks, and from all the risks, we identify that the competition risk and the switching cost risk are the most important to be mitigated by Booka. The competition risk can be mitigated by Booka's acquiring synergistic partnership to get leverage over the competitors, and Booka's strategy into developing a group purchase model also potentially lead them to a larger market share and customer retention. Meanwhile, on switching cost risk, Booka has managed to adapt with the current MSME trend through their value-added services, such as providing a buy now pay later system and a bookkeeping platform, which is in high demand by the customers. And Booka has also provided cost-effective services through their group purchase model, which in turn can lower the business expenses of their customers. All things considered, we are confident that Booka is able to identify, mitigate, and manage all of these risks.
Besides risks, there is also a key manageable issues to be considered. Here, we acknowledge that environment, social governance plays an important part in the sustainability of a company. Guided by the MSCI framework, we are also analyzing Booka's performance in ESG aspect, in which we have addressed that Booka has shown their concern about these issues and have strived to bring their ESG aspect to a higher standard. We then compute Booka's overall performance based on the weightage of each ESG components, and our assessment concludes that Booka yields a scoring of 3.3 out of 5, which is in line with the industry standards. This will enable Booka to have a sustainable business in the long run. To sum it all, based on Booka's ability to adopt successful business models, Booka's continuous adaptation to gain sustainable competitive advantage, and Booka's endless drive to accomplish an inimitable ecosystem, we are positive that this is the time for Bookalappa upswing to a target price of 645 rupiahs and a 36.4% upside potential. Let's buy. Thank you, and we will now take your questions.
All right, thank you, Tim. Judges, are you ready?
Okay, ready.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. First questions regarding the business model that you gave to us about this wholesaler, in which by taking the wholesaling, you can expect to edge. May I ask, why do you think Booka will be able to increase their margin, like the take rate from now? Because if you have independent wholesaler to contract it, once they know that you are strong, they will ask for more. So the questions again, where do you think the high take rate would come from?
Thank you, Sir Ari, for the questions. I would like to explain our understanding on these issues. So right now, the Mitra segment or the e-warung industries are mainly focusing on FMCGs as their the biggest percentage of their main items in selling. But in the future, and right now already beginning that there are a lot of different categories or other products offerings that are embedded in the application. For example, not only they sell like conventional FMCG products, but they also could sell could be a logistic agents or fresh food seller, and we have a much higher margin in that. For example, in FMCG, Booka only takes 1 to 2%, but as being a logistic agents, they could have a double-digit level of take rate. And fresh food, they have a higher single-digit take rate. And also in the upcoming segmentations of digital bank, we have the take rate that we projected the take rate could be 3% in the remittance business. So that higher take rate will bring or will propels the entire take rate to be up.
Okay, next question.
I would like to add to you. That's a good answer, Rius. And thanks for the question. I would like to add that Buka has committed to add value-added services similar to Shopify that penetrate into the back-end side of a B2B business or E1 business. That includes like bookkeeping features, like website building features, analytics, and etc. And for context, Shopify take rate ranges from 2.2% to 3%. And on top of that, they also try to adopt group purchase model. And for context, Pinduoduo, even with its high cost of goods sold, can reach a take rate of 3% growth. And looking at the trend of the take rate of Buka, it has increased from 0.87% for the Mitra segment to 1.21% within 1 quarter. So I think our estimates where we estimate the take rate to be to reach 1.8% is very reasonable.
Okay, if you're already done, next question is from me. So I'm not convinced at all by the Buka O2O story, because I think as Indonesia will have a higher GDP per capita in the long run, yeah. So the number of mom and pop stores will decrease instead of increase, yeah, because there will be a what you call the people will prefer to buy online or go to more established store such as Indomaret, Alfamart, etc. Even in rural area. So can you prove me that I'm not right, that I'm wrong in regards of that?
Yes, thank you for the question. It's a good question, actually. So the story of Bukalapak, or Mitra Bukalapak to be specific, doesn't stop at digitizing e-warung. If we were to compare to the early start of Gojek, Grab, and Uber, they started with taxi drivers, ojek drivers, and they expand over the years. These taxi drivers become logistic partners, delivery partners, and food delivery partners. And Buka is committed to add more services that these Mitras could provide. And also, this Mitra, based on our survey, explained that compared to their surrounding community, they have higher digital literacy. That means they can help other people to digitize, to make digital payments. And also, unlike its niche competitors like Warung Pintar and SRC, Bukalapak addressable market is not limited to e-warung. It can also include individual agents and other types of MSMEs like warteg, even like tukang bangunan. So the e-warung is only a stepping stone before it continue to expand their services and their addressable market.
Yeah, thank you. To add on my colleagues that to put some figures, MSME is contributing to 60% of our Indonesian GDP pre-pandemic level. So it is a lot of potential to tap into. And non-tier 1 cities is there. We know that Indonesia has 270 million people, but only about 30 million are living in the big cities. So this potential is so big that, and right now the leading and also the one that have the right infrastructure and the ready infrastructure is only Mitra Bukalapak.
Okay, second question from me related to ESG. So what Bukalapak can do to increase their ESG score? You can tweak their business model or you can add a product. So anything that can increase their ESG score. What can they do to increase their ESG score? That's the question.
Okay, sir. So thank you for the question, sir. So Buka's business model is currently spreading a good social impacts to the society because based on our survey, the Mitras claims that their revenue can increase up to 10% since they joined Mitra Bukalapak. And for their environmental impact, they are starting to collaborating with Plastic Pay to tackle the carbon footprint issue. So the customers can get the plastic packaging to the Plastic Pay, and then they will get the Plastic Pay point, and it will turn into another products, so it can reduce the carbon footprints.
Thank you.
I would like to add to my colleague. So besides tackling the carbon footprint issue with the collaboration with Plastic Play, the business model that we have promoted throughout this presentation, which is the group purchase model, can decrease the carbon dioxide, and it will provide a good environmental impact. Since before, in the first conventional model, people would usually buy it individually, causing more logistic costs and causing more CO2 to the environment. So for a better environmental score with the group purchase model, people can buy it all at once. So we can collab the people in the same areas which want to purchase items in the bulk items, so they can deliver it all at once and not individually. So it will decrease the carbon dioxide or the pollution and increase Bukalapak's environmental score.
Please, Panel.
Team. So in your valuation, you guys are using the EV to revenue and EV revenue divided by growth, correct?
Yes, we use
So,
first. Yes, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
No, you were saying something?
Yes, we use a 50% weighting on nominal EV to sales, 50% growth adjusted. So we use both.
Yeah. So what is the difference between the both? Why use two similar, almost similar method?
Yes, because EV to sales, because the valuation for these tech stocks tend to be on the top line earnings, because in this early stage, especially for Mitra that has only been around for 3 years, they have not been focused on their bottom line earnings. And why use two similar models? Because on EV to sales alone, it seems like very high, like 14.3 times EV to sales. But because of the high growth of this industry and the company, we need to adjust it to growth. And we can see that from the slide of valuation, the global peers average rate at 0.25 times growth adjusted EV to sales, while Mitra we project to trade at 0.21. Why it is lower? Because it has higher growth rate. Because in the past 3 years, Mitra Bukalapak has recorded a compound annual growth rate of 200%. That is almost 3 times higher than C Limited. That's the reason why we use the growth adjusted, because we want to emphasize that according to the growth of the company, it is very undervalued and it's still early on its growth pace, and there's more value to come. Thank you.
That is the thing. If one part has a lower growth, other part has a higher growth. So why don't you divide, like say the marketplace using the EV per sales, and then the Mitra Bukalapak using EV sales divided by growth? Why you combine both and then you put a 50-50?
Because the marketplace
so it contradicts with what you mentioned just now.
Oh yeah, because the two segments are still growing, so we need to, because this is like a very.
Sorry, time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Tim. We will arrange for the next team to the main room.
Pak, minta waktu 3 menit dulu bisa, Pak?
Silakan, Pak.
Ya, beresin ini administrasi.
Ya. Baik, kami akan mulai kalau judges sudah siap. Tim berikutnya adalah Alpha Capital dari UI. Jadi para judges minta waktu, jadi tolong standby aja. Ya, tim silakan coba untuk share screen.
Baik, Pak. Sebentar.
Saya udah ready ya. Silakan.
Coba share screen dulu. Nanti kalau semua sudah siap, baru saya kasih aba-aba untuk mulai. Ya, kelihatan share screen. Judges, apakah sudah siap?
Siap, Pak. Siap.
Siap, Pak
Yes.
Teguh?
Ready, Pak.
Oke, tim silakan. Kalau sudah siap, silakan bicara.
Dear honorable judges, we are Alpha Capital, and today we are here to present our recommendation for Buka. Striving to capture the value of Indonesia's digital playground, particularly in the e-commerce and O2O market, is Bookalappa. Buka provides a wide range of physical and virtual products to mainly serve digital laggards region, with 73% of company traffic coming from non-tier 1 cities. Although starting as an e-commerce, Buka made a pivot to focus on O2O as its core. Buka is currently a market leader in the O2O segment with 42% market share. Digital is all the hype these days, which largely explains why Bookalappa, an e-commerce company, is one of the most talked about stocks in the country. But first, a reality check. To back the hype, management boasts that Buka is a market leader with first mover advantage, most diversified virtual products, moat in non-tier 1 regions, and scalability from third-party logistics. Not satisfied with these claims, however, our team dug deeper, conducting a proprietary channel check to 73 mom and pops and 1,000 e-commerce customers. We found that mom and pops have no stickiness, minimal purchasing of virtual products, while Indonesian customers do not have Buka as the e-commerce brand in mind. These are only some of the damning points found by our deep research. It's only time until the market swallows these bitter truths.
Alpha Capital issues a sell recommendation with a target price of 380 rupiah, translating to a 19% downside from the close of 472 rupiah. We base our recommendation on 3 main catalysts: powerlessness to fight competitors within e-commerce, difficulty to solve the puzzling O2O market, and a long and arduous journey towards profitability. Going into the first catalyst, we see that Buka has an unfavorable position in funding of competitors within the e-commerce market. Indonesia's e-commerce presents a $146 billion opportunity per 2025. However, it is not a level field. Market share largely concentrates on 2 big names only, namely Tokopedia and Shopee. The two control 56% of the market versus Buka's 11% share. Even during COVID, where digitalization rocketed, Shopee and Tokopedia managed to widen the gap. Contrast to Buka, who have struggled to stimulate consumer interest. To address the gap, Buka plans to shift towards a specialized marketplace model offering segmented product platforms. However, this will highly risk limiting scale given narrow expansion options. In addition, verticals in which Buka plans to enter are filled with sizable and competitive players. The shift will also halt growth, with traffic only growing by 13% CAGR 2022 to 2026.
Going into the second catalyst, we see that the industry Buka relies on is actually unreliable, with 3 puzzles not yet solved. The first puzzle requires Buka to sustainably acquire customers amidst competitors and skepticism. Analysis of the industry shows intense competition coming from e-commerce incumbents with brand recognition and significant dry powder, nascent startups with different business models, and banking agents with wide networks. In addition, potential users remain skeptical, with 73% of our channel check respondents signaling reluctance to use an O2O app, which is mainly caused by existing loyalty to conventional methods and distributors. The second puzzle addresses difficulty to maintain user stickiness in this market. Based on our channel checks, 85% of respondents are willing to change apps with better deals. No wonder, as there are no incentives or deals in place to maintain loyalty. In addition, Buka's strategy to provide as many virtual products as possible is easily replicable. Therefore, mom and pops only seek to optimize price and availability. The third and final puzzle relates to monetizing O2O users. Currently, 85% of MSMEs in Indonesia are running their business with a see how it goes mentality, presenting very little potential for O2O to introduce monetization. This is further proven by the low take rate O2O players have, both local or abroad. Buka currently yields 1.2% take rate per 2020. To illustrate how far away Buka is in terms of potential, in order for us to call buy on this stock, Buka's O2O take rate needs to be at 4.6%, even though the highest take rate our comparable analysis can find is 3.6%.
For the final catalyst, we see that management claims to chase profit as a steep task. Currently, Buka is operating at a tremendous loss, with selling and marketing costs 1.23 times of its gross profit. Although normal for an e-commerce startup to book losses, management claims to take a prudent approach and chase profit, evidenced by a 50% decrease in customer acquisition costs in 2020. However, the majority of Indonesia's rising urban population are digital laggards that perceive online transactions to be unreliable and more expensive. Thus, better pricing and quality are key to achieve growth and network effects. This, of course, requires significant spending, or else Buka risks entering what we call the negative growth trap. In addition, even with our lax assumptions in forecasting expenses, we see that Buka will only become profitable by 2026, a 3-year delay from management claim. With this catalyst in mind, we derive a target price of 380 rupiah from a relative valuation method, a 19% downside to the close of 472. Through our scenario analysis, even an optimistic view of the company illustrates a limited value upside. As Buka has no positive cash flow, traditional earning multiples cannot be used to capture Buka's value. We use the EV sales multiple to assess company capacity to attract and monetize traffic. To account for growth expectation, we modified the multiple using its comparable sales growth projection. Through our 4 main criteria, we managed to compile a peer set consisting of Alibaba, Pinduoduo, Sea Limited, Mercado Libre, and Kupang. With plans to shift Buka e-commerce into a specialized and storefront business, our team added another company, namely Shopify, an online storefront platform. Even after factoring in its growth rates, Buka trades at a 271% premium. This premium is also seen in Shopify, but Shopify already has an established storefront business, whereas Buka shift is only starting. Due to Buka much lower monetization than peers, we assign a 20% discount to its multiple target. In addition, we see 4 negative momentum to unlock our valuation. The first one being a lackluster corporate action strategy from the firm, and second one being ending IPO lockup period, third one a looming threat from its biggest competitor IPO posing capital flight threat, and last but not least a hawkish macro environment. Due to record high inflation, consensus expects a rate hike of 125 until 150 bips in 2022. Our study found a negative correlation between risk-free rates and EV sales multiple of tech company. We believe that this will only put further pressures on Buka stock price.
To supplement our analysis, we identified several upside risks. First, we see a possibility for Buka to acquire strategic partners using IPO funds as a major risk due to a creative revenue potential that will impact our valuation price even if they remain speculative plays. Secondly, our target price is also sensitive with the risk of rapid O2O adoption, which may happen due to an under-penetrated stage of B2B e-commerce. However, with intense competition entering O2O, a market size growth may not translate to a better market share for Buka. Evaluating its ESG performance, Buka falls short to peers. Using the MSCI ESG framework and Asian Corporate Governance Scorecard, Buka booked a score of 7.9. We mapped out 5 key issues, with 2 key issues being the most material. The first one is user data breach, as seen in the data hack scandal in 2019. Aside from losing the public's trust, data breach violates governance regulation and lawsuit can cause Buka a material financial loss. The second issue is in governance, where Buka is led by board directors with the least amount of experience in e-commerce. Given that a freelancer is a job marketplace, this means that Buka's board has no experience in C2C retail commerce prior to Buka. This is contrast with peers who are led by professionals from huge global e-commerce companies like Amazon and Flipkart. Exacerbating this, Buka CEO Rahmat Kaimuddin resigned from his position despite the company being in the middle of strategic uncertainty.
1 minute to go.
Is opened and bitter truths have been presented. Buka is at a significant fundamental disadvantage due to stiff competition, an industry not yet solved, and a misguided plan to achieve profits. We're Alpha Capital from Universitas Indonesia, reiterating our sell call for Buka with a target price of 380 rupiah. translating to a 19% downside. This is a call to close the stall.
All right, thank you, Tim. Judges, when you are ready, we will start the Q&A session.
Thanks, Rahmat. Okay, thank you. Let me start with the first questions. You assume a lower take rate in the slide number 14, I think. So, questions. Buka has started with several acquisitions like Alo and some of the other acquisitions. If you assume this lower take rate, how you think the acquisition would benefit them? Is it going to be negative? Because certainly when Buka acquired them, it expected for this acquisition would increase the take rate by offering more services. Thank you.
Yes, Pak Ari, thank you for your question. So maybe can we go to appendix view? Yes, and then can we go to the O2O MSME users business behavior? Number 32. Yeah, so we believe that actually monetization initiatives in Indonesia O2O is currently very ineffective. Why is that? Because of the fact that MSMEs in Indonesia currently have what we say a wait and see mindset, right? So what that means is that, for example, mom and pops and also small stores, they only run their business just to get additional income. They don't necessarily seek to really develop their business. So we believe that acquisition to expand, for example, like the Alobang acquisition that you've mentioned, that can relate to potential monetization from lending, right, lending channels and so on. But accordingly, MSME digital-based activities is still very minimal in terms of other than sales, right? So this means that the monetization potential is still very limited. You can see that actually bookkeeping, payment, and also lending and also financing is still very minimal in terms of adoption in MSMEs.
So you mean they are doomed with the current strategy?
So our team believes that the industry is not necessarily doomed in terms of monetization. However, we just see that the strategy Buka is currently doing is not the correct product market fit for the O2O market.
Okay, next questions from me. So, do you think that the strategic partnership between Buka and Alobang will change your opinion in regards to your pessimism in Bukalappak's future?
Thank you, sir, for the question. So, Gio, can we go back to slide number 32, appendix number 32? So, yep, appendix number 32. Okay. So, Alobang's strategic partnership with Bukalapak will mainly comes in the form of financing from our understanding. That means providing working capital to these warungs. However, as seen in the chart on the right-hand side, basically right now in the current state, Indonesian MSMEs only use digital solutions mainly for sales and also inventory and sourcing. Based on the survey, there's 0% MSMEs that is currently using digital solutions for financing and working capital. Therefore, we see very limited potential for these strategic partnerships to really catalyze the growth of Bukalapak, given that currently Indonesian MSMEs behavior signal that they don't really desire financing solutions. So yep, sir, we see that there's a very limited potential for that.
Okay, thank you. Next question from me is related to ESG. So, what can Bukalapak do to increase their ESG score, be it a change in or tweak in the business model or new products, etc.? So, how can they increase their ESG score?
Okay, thank you, sir, for the questions. Can we go to our ESG slides, Gio? So, not the appendix one, but the actual slides. Slides number 27. So, yeah, thank you, sir, for the question. So the two most material ESGs that we identify are the user data breach and also the compositions of Bookalappa's BOD. So these are the two most material aspects. So we think that if Booka really wants to hike its ESG scores, then these are the two segments that they need to prioritize. For the user data breach, what they can do is that they can strengthen their protection for customers' data. That means doing bug bounty programs and also other cybersecurity programs. And secondly, for their BOD composition, we believe that what they can do is that they can actually recruit more experienced professionals with actual experience in the e-commerce sectors into their board. So, yep, that is our answer, sir.
Yeah, maybe just what, maybe would just like to add, right? Maybe in terms of how Bookalappa is progressing its environmental impact, we think that the company is also very lacking or left behind its peers. Right, so for example, as GoTo has already explored a partnership to create and to streamline every its vehicle inventory into electric vehicles, right? We see that e-commerce and also tech stocks are already taking concrete steps to address environmental impact, while Bookalappa still has no concrete statement in regards to how they want to positively impact the environment around them.
Tim, so which valuation method do you use and why?
Okay, sorry, yeah. So we use the EV to sales growth relative valuation method. Maybe I wait. Yeah, use that. The reason why we use the EV sales and sales growth multiple is because maybe I can go to this one. Sorry, yeah. So the reason why we use the EV sales to sales growth is because we want to take into account the growth expectation, because we see that a lot of e-commerce startup doesn't have positive cash flow or positive earnings. So the only way that we are comfortable in evaluating the company is using their top line or the revenue. But maybe we don't use the EV GMV per se, because as we all know that GMV itself, it's every company has a different meaning for their GMV. And the second one, GMV is something that a company doesn't obligated to disclose. Thus, searching data about GMV is really, really hard. And also, if we found one, we don't have the perfect and then the confidence, the sources, the data that back the number of their GMV. So that's why we use the EV to sales growth as the relative valuation method. That's all. Thank you.
So you're only using one type of valuation?
Yeah. So we basically use one as our relative valuation, but we do a sanity check with discounted cash flow and also the customer lifetime valuation as more way to better further bolster our analysis.
So what would be the difference if you use EV to sales compared to EV to sales to the sales growth?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Anil, for your question. So basically what we see here is the fact that the e-commerce industry and also the tech industry in general is investors highly value the growth potential of the companies, right? So that is why we put sales growth projections as one of our, as the discount to the EV sales multiple. Because, for example, even if, the EV sales for Bookalappa right now is currently at 34, right? Or forward is at 25. This may seem expensive, but then we need to do another sanity check by looking at their growth potential. And even then, when we look at their growth potential, we see that they actually have, I think their growth potential is at 37%, while at the average, our comparable peers has an average of 33%. So even when looking at the an EV sales perspective, it's already very expensive. But then to account for the sales growth potential that they have, we see that there is still a very massive premium of Bookalappa over their peers. So that's why we adjust the EV sales.
1 minute to go.
So what's your sales growth?
Yeah, as you can see from the appendix here, sir. So we use the forward EV sales to SG in 2022, and we expect the sales growth for Booka in 2023. So because for the expectation is at 37%, while we see that the consensus expectations for our comparable peers to be at 33% currently on an average basis.
If the sales growth, I say, would be, say, 5%, would you still be using the EV to sales growth or using the EV to sales?
So we still use the EV to sales growth because we need to take into the account that the company has may have not ability to further increase their revenue. So
the change in sales growth, the number, the percentage, does not make you to change from EV to sales growth to EV to sales. That is not a factor. The sales growth is not a factor, or it is a factor for this valuation.
Yes, so we see that this is actually a factor because, for example, if we see that Bukalappa's growth is at 5%, but other tech companies still have their relative growth expectations, right? So what we see is that we really need to discount the sales growth expectations.
Sorry, time is up.
All right, Tim, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
We will have 30 minutes judges deliberation. Please all teams stand by in the middle. Jadi para peserta nanti akan di-announce pemenangnya. Setiap ranking nanti kita ambil foto dulu. Kita mulai dari juara 7. Setelah judges announcement itu nanti kopi IC kami, Pak Wudi akan memberi kata penutup. Kita tunggu para judgesnya. Apakah sudah siap para judges?
Oke, siap Pak, siap.
Oke, silakan.
Oke, udah ya. Oke,
Ya,
terima
di
kasih.
spotlight.
Oke.
Ya.
Terima kasih teman-teman, terima kasih para peserta. Terus terang ini kita membutuhkan waktu 30 menit full untuk mendiskusikan ranking karena memang kita ingin memastikan bahwa yang memang terbaik adalah yang bisa mendapatkan skornya begitu, sesuai dengan skornya lah. Satu kata sama seperti juga yang dikemukakan oleh Pak Triyono di awal, ini adalah proses belajar. Jadi kalau bisa dikatakan menang atau kalah ya an additional kebahagiaan. Tetapi terus terang buat Anda pun yang tidak lolos itu merupakan proses belajar yang bagus. Terus terang ya, kalau memang Anda akan berniat untuk terus melanjutkan karir di dunia finansial, ini adalah bukan ujung, ini baru awal. Dan pengalaman saya sendiri selama ini tidak selalu yang maju di paling depan di awal-awal itu akan menjadi pemenang di akhir. Jadi ini pengalaman pribadi saya. Jadi memang jangan discourage untuk yang belum lolos, akan selalu ada kesempatan selama Anda selalu belajar. Jadi memang selalu tema kita di sini adalah is a learning process, dan ini adalah proses untuk saling melihat, saling mengukur di mana proses belajar kita, dan yang paling penting adalah learning dan kemudian evaluate dan maju lagi. With that, saya ingin mengumumkan hasil scoring kita dimulai dari posisi nomor 7. Posisi nomor 7 diduduki oleh tim dari Ubaya.
Oke, spotlight please. Wait.
Jadi kita akan ambil foto para pesertanya, timnya. Mohon dibantu untuk spotlight mereka.
Okay, we will take a picture. 3, 2, 1, smile. One more. Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih.
Ya, silakan kembali.
Posisi 6 diduduki oleh Kosanin dari Prasetya Mulia. Terima kasih.
Silakan untuk di spotlight. Tim Kosanin.
Okay. We will take picture. Smile. 3, 2, 1. One more. Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih. Oke, sudah, Bu Dewi?
Sudah, Pak.
Nomor 5 diduduki oleh tim Race Ventures dari Universitas Indonesia.
Silakan di spotlight.
Oke, Bu Dewi.
Belum,
Satu lagi,
masih
Pak,
satu,
sebentar.
Pak.
Maaf Bapak, Ibu, keluar dari Zoom, masalah internet. Satu lagi
Oh,
teman
oke.
kami, Irfan. Ya.
Terima kasih
Kalau
teman-teman.
foto berempat aja. Oke. Oke ya, oke. Oke, smile. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Oke, thank you.
Terima kasih. Oke, Bu Dewi.
Oke, Pak.
Nomor 4 adalah tim Blue Whale dari Universitas Diponegoro.
Okay, we will take a picture. Smile. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Oke, thank you. Dan Pak.
Terima kasih. Nomor 3 itu tim 1 dari Prasetya Mulia.
Okay, we will take a picture. Smile. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Oke, Pak. Dan.
Terima kasih. Sekarang saya nomor 1-nya dulu deh. Nomor 1-nya adalah, sebentar, saya ganti. Tim Alpha Capital dari Universitas Indonesia. Selamat ya. You'll be representing Indonesia juga. So.
Okay, team. We will take a picture. Smile. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. Success for you.
Oke, yang nomor 2 sudah jelas. Yang akan juga merepresent Indonesia, tim Ace Ventures dari Prasetya Mulia. Terima kasih.
Nanti mohon stay dulu ya. Kita ada kata penutup dari Pak Budi Warsono setelah Pak Ari selesai. Turunin dong tangannya. Kita mau ambil fotonya.
Bisa lagi
Oke,
antara
Tim.
bahagia atau ketawain siapa nih?
Oke, Tim. We'll take a picture. Smile. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Oke, thank you. Success for you
Terima
all.
kasih.
Ya, silakan Pak Ari. Kalau masih ada perkataan, sesudah itu dengan sambung Pak Budi. Silakan Pak Ari.
Ya, terima kasih. Sekali lagi buat teman-teman yang belum lolos, don't be discouraged. Pengalaman pribadi saya masuk dunia pasar modal ini pertama kali justru karena penolakan. Jadi saya ngelamar di satu aset manajemen terus ditolak. Akhirnya saya dendam terus saya malah belajar terus. Akhirnya ya saya bisa juga lah gitu sampai saya pensiun. Jadi don't be discouraged. We keep fight, keep learning. In the end ada satu, saya ingat itu juga kalau nggak salah dulu pernah kerja sama-sama Bos Budi nih di CLSC, ada satu analis namanya terkenalnya Russell Napier. Dia selalu bilang adalah kalau Anda seorang fund manager, yang perlu Anda cari adalah jangan orang yang setuju dengan pendapat Anda, carilah orang yang tidak setuju dengan pendapat Anda. Jadi kembali lagi kenapa? Karena proses learning itu. Terima kasih.
Judges, can we take a picture for you? Smile, judges. 3, 2, 1. One more. Thank you. Oke.
Bu, nanti
Pak Budi.
setelah Pak Budi kita ambil foto bersama ya, Bu.
Oke, Pak.
Yuk. Silakan Pak Budi.
Mungkin kalau dari saya
Please remove
sebenarnya
spotlight. Sorry.
oke.
Ya,
Oke,
silakan.
Pak.
Oke, sebenarnya kalau dari saya sih bukan ini ya yang Mas Ari bilang tadi akhirnya bisa juga itu nggak tepat, akhirnya jadi legenda itu yang benar ya. Jadi bayangin gitu dari titik awal sampai karir Mas Ari jadi seperti apa. Dan mungkin kalau saya mau bilang sesuatu adalah saya merasa bersyukur hari ini nggak jadi bagian dari juri gitu karena nilainya mepet semua, bagus-bagus gitu. Dari debatnya seru, saya sempat ngintip sebentar tapi rada-rada ngeri gitu saking sengitnya debatnya ya. Jadi perbedaannya itu tipis sekali. Jadi nggak perlu ada yang discourage kalau belum bisa mewakili kali ini. Tapi yang saya juga mau bilang adalah bahwa tempo hari pada waktu kita itu ada share mengenai learning lessons daripada seluruh ini ya dari seluruh proses CFA competition, CFA challenge yang dial in itu cuma yang masuk final ya rata-rata ya. Sementara yang lain nggak masuk, sebenarnya sayang banget gitu. I think we got the competition wrong kalau begitu. Karena sebenarnya yang paling penting adalah soal learningnya, bukan soal terpilih mewakili kali ini atau terpilih sebagai juara for lack of better words. Jadi the whole learning experience itu amazing ya. Menurut saya sih, saya kebayang pada waktu saya di your age gitu waktu kuliah. Jauh sekali ya level pengetahuan saya, level exposure, level kesempatan itu amat sangat jauh gitu. Dan boleh dibilang bahwa ini ya di sini saya menyaksikan begitu banyak out of the box analysis dan sebagai ini ya mahasiswa-mahasiswi bisa meyakinkan senior-seniornya itu adalah hal yang luar biasa. Dan tadi saya sempat bilang bahwa perasaan saya itu kayak teraduk-aduk gitu. Habis dengerin tim bullish, tim bearish, habis pengen beli, pengen jual, pengen beli, pengen jual, gitu. Saking bagusnya argumennya. Dan kalau kita dilihat sebagai ini ya, sebagai punya kesempatan untuk menganalisa tech companies, menurut saya juga seperti mematahkan satu persepsi bahwa tech company itu sulit sekali untuk dianalisa. Tapi hari ini kita lihat bahwa anak-anak muda dengan semangat belajar yang luar biasa ternyata bisa prove it bahwa sangat memungkinkan untuk bisa menganalisa tech company dengan banyak common sense, dengan banyak angle yang mungkin beberapa senior juga nggak kepikiran gitu. Dan prosesnya itu jadi seperti ternyata nggak serumit itu. Dan mungkin yang terakhir dari saya adalah ini mungkin menjadi titik awal untuk penciptaan satu habits baru ya, karena kita itu creature of habits kan. Jadi kita udah bangun satu habits untuk belajar, untuk growing, dan kalau habits ini kita laksanakan maka prosesnya kan jadi otomatis, dan sebagai efek sampingnya adalah kita itu jadi punya waktu untuk achieve sesuatu yang luar biasa dalam hidup kita. Dan saya encourage setelah selesai kompetisi ini jangan berhenti di sini, terus maintain habitnya untuk belajar, untuk terus growing. Mungkin dari saya itu, dan perkenankan saya juga mengucapkan banyak terima kasih ke judges-nya ya, 3 judges yang luar biasa, juga kepada volunteer, ke Steve, ke Nico, yang kita udah berpartner berbulan-bulan nih ngerjain ini, ke Pak Rahmat, ke Bu Dewi atas supportnya yang luar biasa, dan teman-teman lain di CFA yang saya nggak bisa sebutkan satu persatu. Terima kasih banyak. Selamat siang.
Okay, go PIC, we will take a picture for you. Smile. Passive. Okay, 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Oke, kita akan ambil foto bersama, dan kembali kalau ada feedback tolong sampaikan ke kami melalui email atau WhatsApp group ya, biar kompetisi tahun depan lebih bagus lagi dan lebih berkesan lagi. Ya, silakan Bu Dewi untuk
ya, sebentar Pak.
Semua tolong nyalakan videonya masing-masing. Jadi nanti akan diambil berapa screenshot oleh Bu Dewi. Mohon nyalakan videonya.
Oke. Oke. For slide 1. 3, 2, 1. Wait a minute. Okay, for slide 2. Pak Giri, kamera on cam. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Wait. For slide 3. Pak Triyono, not on cam. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Baik,
Thank you.
kita sudah di akhir acara. Terima kasih semua. Sampai ketemu di acara berikutnya.
Terima kasih. Selamat siang, selamat makan siang.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Congrats to the winners.
Congrats for all.
Congratulations for all.
Bye.
Success.
Thank you.